24 hours earlier, Joseph Manhart kidnapped his ex-girlfriend, assaulted her, and threatened to kill her. After managing to escape, she called police, triggering an arrest warrant for Joseph's immediate capture. Since then, Joseph vanished, and police had no indication of where he might strike next. Until now. With an active warrant and a report that Joseph is armed and dangerous, officers are dispatched immediately, advancing towards the house, fully prepared for a shootout.
I just talked to the homeowner. He said that if he didn't drive, the only place he could have went is hopped the fence and is barricaded in that shed that Swenson's got a view on. So he said the best way to go through is us just knock on the door, he'll let us in. We'll go through the house and clear the shed. We're ready? All right, I got it. Bye. You want to show us where to go? And where's the shed? You got me? I'm gonna have to go through and hit it and come swing it out wide. Okay.
Police, anyone in there? Police, if anyone's in there, show me your hands. Come out. Show me your hands. Get in here.
Quiet. All right. You didn't make it in here? Probably drove by one of us.
With no sign of the suspect, Joseph remains at large, and whatever he came here to do, he didn't finish it. So before officers leave the residence, they speak with Joseph's brother, trying to understand why Joseph showed up and what he might do next. What he tells them reframes the entire situation. According to his brother, Joseph didn't come here randomly. He was likely looking for his ex-girlfriend, the same woman who escaped his kidnapping just a day earlier. The two had recently broken up, a split that left Joseph without stable housing and increasingly angry. His brother also tells police that in recent conversations, Joseph had been talking about tying up loose ends and ending it all. To officers, it begins to sound like Joseph isn't just running. He may be moving with intent, driven by a personal vendetta and targeting people he believes have wronged him. If that's true, it has never been more urgent to locate Joseph before he reaches someone else. But it doesn't take long for those fears to be confirmed, because later that evening, police receive another alarming 911 call.
From 911?
My brother-in-law's at our house right now.
Okay, what is he outside?
Yes, he's outside.
Okay. Is he knocking on the door? What's he doing?
He does, but they said we already have it. It could be on it.
Yes, okay.
He's here right now.
Okay, we're on the way. Tell me exactly where he's at.
He's out front. He's walking around out front.
He's walking around.
Following this terrifying call for help from Joseph's sister-in-law, officers are dispatched to the home once again. But by the time they arrive, Joseph has already vanished. This time, however, officers decide to canvass the surrounding neighborhood before leaving, a decision that will prove critical. Nearby CCTV footage captures Joseph getting into a car and speeding away from the property earlier in the day. For the next few hours, patrol units search across the city, but the white Hyundai remains out of sight.
Hey, happy Friday.
Several hours, Joseph's
Thank
decisions
you.
will force officers into one of the most dangerous manhunts of their careers. For the next few hours,
Thank you for
patrol units
stopping
search across
by.
the city, but the white Hyundai remains out of sight.
Thank you.
Then, around 1:30 a.m., a lone patrol unit spots a vehicle matching the description and immediately initiates a pursuit.
Yes, I am tired today, guys. I thought I was going to sleep in, but I came in early. I was up late last night.
Minutes later, as patrol units continue canvassing the area, one
Oh,
officer
thank
spots
you. Yeah,
Joseph's
I get my
car
nails
parked on
very
nearby
short,
train
though. See?
tracks. With no
Not
way of
long at
knowing whether
all,
Joseph
so
is still inside or hiding close by, the officer
it's
cautiously
not hard to
approaches
work
the
with them.
vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, I have civilians here saying that there's a car parked on the tracks at Building Hotel 3 on the southwest end. Can I get a couple more this way?
31, shut it down. Thank you.
Built up to 76. I have visual on the vehicle. It looks like it still might go. I forget.
Thank you.
South corner of Hotel 3.
It is very. And this is the second install. So we did this one a couple months ago, and now she's back to get it reinstalled. So that shows you how you can reuse the hair.
Joseph appears to have given officers an advantage. He is now on foot without transportation.
Yes.
Finally have a chance to coordinate. That window closes almost immediately.
Yep.
That's just 20 minutes later.
That shows you that it's not painful at all.
911.
Utility trader. I just had a lady walk in the front door, said her car was stolen and she was shot at.
What kind of car?
Blood on her.
We're in the area looking for this guy. Could she tell you quick what kind of car?
What kind of car?
As dispatch gathers details from the call, patrol units across the area are alerted to be on the lookout for a stolen white Kia Optima taken at gunpoint. At the same time, one patrol unit is sent to the scene of the carjacking to speak directly with the victim, where they'll learn just how close Joseph is to committing his first murder.
Do you mind if I talk to you for a second now? Okay.
So doing these miracle knots, and then I have, I don't usually do faux locks, but I'm doing some crochet faux locks tonight at 5. So got those 2 clients today. So I may be back live later too. Oh, thank you, friend. Yeah, I've been braiding a long time.
Okay.
By this point, it's clear Joseph has lost control, and this woman is lucky to be alive. But that might not be the case for whoever crosses his path next. Because just minutes later, around 2 a.m., a patrol unit spots the stolen car speeding down the highway, heading toward Utah County. As soon as the pursuit begins, Joseph starts swerving across lanes, forcing other drivers to react and putting innocent lives directly in danger. With Joseph refusing to slow down, it's only a matter of time before someone gets hurt. So to bring the pursuit to an end, an officer approaching from the opposite side of the highway pulls over and prepares to deploy spike strips.
Watching Dr. Sanity on YouTube, like a true crime channel. They show a lot of body cam though. I like body cam. Yeah, cracking up. Oh, these I just braid down. I just attach it and then just braid it down. You don't have to do anything extra with it, but I'll show you in a second.
He's hopping the fence. He's over the fence now. He's over the fence now. We need to use the frontage. He's on front and down. On front. He's going to housing complex over here. By a white, like,
No, I have a thing that's around my neck, and the phone sits on it. It's magnetic.
Area surrounded by homes where families are asleep inside. Knowing how dangerous and unpredictable Joseph is, officers
So I
now have
take
to
this
cut through the
piece
busy highway
and
and
I
move
crochet it
quicker to find him
into
before
like
anyone else
close
is
to the
put at
end of the
risk.
braid, like that. Okay, so you see how it's like 3 pieces now? So then I just braid that as normal. Braid that down. And then to secure it, for me, I like to take one of these long pieces and split it in half to make 3, and then continue to braid down. No, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. And thank you so much. I appreciate you.
With Joseph disappearing into a residential area, the situation becomes far more unpredictable. By now, more than 30 officers are flooding the scene, and without coordination, every decision risks putting innocent families in danger. This is when Sergeant Sheldon arrives and takes control.
Stand by, I'm safe containment, right? Sorry, bro. I don't have all the information because I switched this last minute, okay? So, what do you guys got? So, the area shot going in the 3-4 center. Okay. Probably gonna take like half an hour for that work to go. We hopped over that fence right there. Which fence? That one? Okay.
After a quick brief, Sergeant Sheldon forms a plan to flush out Joseph. First, a helicopter is called in to scan the neighborhood from above. Second, a tactical operations center is established near Joseph's last known location to coordinate every unit in real time. And third, officers set up a wide containment zone, covering more than a square mile, with units positioned throughout the neighborhood to cut off any possible escape routes. But just as the plan goes into motion, officers are abruptly interrupted by a sharp sound in the distance.
Right where Preston's at, that's where the shots came from. It was one single shot. Preston, are you okay? Hold your position. I'm sending a unit around to you. We're gonna get, if we can get someone over here to the north of 2025, north from this containment. Yep. All set containment. You guys come up with a plan to systematically search this. Okay?
The gunshot confirms one thing immediately. Joseph is still in the area. But what officers don't realize yet is that the shot wasn't random. It was Joseph forcing his way into a nearby home. And in the next few hours, the situation will escalate in ways officers aren't prepared for. But before we get to that, sometimes the scariest horror stories happen in your own head. Like disturbing thoughts you don't want, but can't stop replaying. Thoughts like, you're going to cheat on your partner and ruin everything. Or, that memory doesn't feel clear. What if I did something terrible and forgot? These thoughts can feel so real and threatening that you start behaving in life-altering ways to try to make them go away. Maybe you spend hours trying to figure out what these thoughts mean, or constantly seek reassurance that you're not a bad person, but the thoughts just get more persistent. If this sounds familiar, you might be experiencing OCD. Contrary to what many people think, OCD isn't about being neat or organized. Real OCD involves distressing, intrusive thoughts and behaviors you do to try to relieve the distress. OCD can be debilitating, but it's highly treatable with the right kind of specialized therapy. And that's where NoCD comes in. NoCD is the world's largest OCD treatment provider, with licensed therapists who specialize in ERP therapy, the most effective treatment for OCD. Sessions are 100% virtual, they accept most major insurance plans, and they provide support between sessions when it matters most. To learn more, go to nocd.com and book a free call. That's nocd.com. Approximately an hour after the gunshot was fired, the helicopter finally arrives and begins a full aerial sweep of the neighborhood. But Joseph is nowhere to be seen. On the ground, officers spread out searching for Joseph and cautiously prepare for an ambush.
my copy, please? Oh, sorry. We're just looking for somebody in the area. Anyone else secure? Didn't notice anything suspicious. Okay, then let me know red shirt. You see someone like that, give us a call. If you find him, you see him, you can give us a call. Alright, thank you. No, you're good. Make sure you lock your door.
Who the hell is available? I'm crazy.
After more than 2 hours of knocking on doors and checking backyards, there's no sign of the suspect. Joseph's absence becomes increasingly unsettling, and Sergeant Sheldon quickly recognizes what it likely means.
If Star and I can't find him, we have a totally different situation, right? Because he potentially could be in one of these houses. He could be taking people hostage. He could have broken in and it's unoccupied. Right? So we have all of this shit that we're going to have to filter through. And that's going to have to take resources. I would estimate 8 on this side, 6 to 10 on this side.
At this point, Sergeant Sheldon and his team are forced to consider multiple scenarios, including a barricaded suspect holding hostages inside. But they won't have to weigh those possibilities for long, because one phone call is about to answer that question for them.
911, what's your emergency?
My family's being held hostage.
Immediately after this, officers spread out and quickly locate the caller nearby, Chris Samuelson, a father who managed to escape the house just moments earlier. What he tells them is chilling. Inside the home, his wife, 2 daughters, and his daughter's boyfriend are still being held at gunpoint, and Joseph is inside with them. With this new escalation, Sergeant Sheldon knows this is beyond the scope of a standard response and prepares to bring in specialized tactical support.
All units, priority traffic. All units, priority traffic. We have information from a citizen leaving a house.
Oh, jeez.
All powerful squad return to talk. All powerful squad return to talk.
Victim's wife, daughter, and daughter's boyfriend are all on the couch. Suspect was sitting in a chair just behind the couch. Daughter, here's another daughter that is sleeping downstairs that should be waking up in the next couple of minutes. Suspect gained access to the house through an unlocked window in the basement.
After SWAT teams arrive and are quickly briefed on the situation, they begin coordinating their next steps, preparing to establish containment and open negotiations with Joseph. But before a plan can fully take shape, someone is spotted exiting the back door of the Samuelson home. Miraculously, the daughter who'd been sleeping in the basement somehow managed to slip outside without Joseph ever noticing. And without realizing it, Joseph's hostage count is now down to 3. With that update, commanding officers begin reassessing the situation in real time. They review everything Joseph has done over the past 36 hours and determine that he has shown a complete disregard for human life and willingness to escalate when under pressure. Based on that assessment, commanders make a critical decision. SWAT teams are authorized to use deadly force if a clear opportunity presents itself. From this point forward, the priority is clear. Protect the hostages at any cost.
Fuck it, right? It's a showtime. Okay? Guys, and make sure we're squared away. Suspects, sit down and go. Now, I need food for a second. Back out, very good. Look.
So, we're throwing a bang as soon as the door gets open. Okay.
Suspect.
I know we're going there.
So don't be back right now.
Oh, we don't need left. Everybody see that? Right? Facing the heat. Your eyes is on the right. That's where the man door is going to be. That's going to be our secondary. Okay? Front door, opens in. This is the one we got set up. This is the kitchen area. Okay? Wrong side of that. Yep, wrong side of that. All right, don't be going to practice to the right. Get behind the stairs.
If daughter's not that window, that means the bottom window is open, right?
This is the fastest way to get in there. It's the fastest way. We have a sign of faith. We're going to reset a new loop and come in. Let's keep practicing. Wherever you guys look, you guys can come. Okay. 2 bangs. 2 bangs? Want to do 2 bangs? No, 1 bang. Just one bang, I think.
With deadly force authorized, a coordinated plan is put into motion, one designed to end the threat and extract the hostages safely. A sniper will be positioned nearby, ready to take Joseph out if he's exposed and a clear shot presents itself. At the same time, negotiators will make contact with Joseph, work to slow him down, gain compliance, and convince him to release the hostages and surrender peacefully. If that fails, they have one secondary objective: get Joseph to step outside. Because if he does, even briefly, it could create the opening the sniper needs. With 3 innocent lives at risk, there's no room for error. One wrong move, and everything ends tragically. The officer assigned as the sniper is Jared Tadahara, a long-serving police officer who moved from patrol and street crime work into a specialized SWAT sniper role. After arriving on scene, Tadahara conducts a quick tactical assessment and moves into a nearby house facing the Samuelson home. From here, he has a clear view of the backside of the house, a position that allows observation without being easily visible to the suspect and provides a safe distance to avoid interfering with perimeter officers. But Tadahara isn't working alone. Every sniper has a spotter, a second officer responsible for range calculations, wind assessments, and most critically, confirming that the shot is clear before Tadahara pulls the trigger. Across the street, negotiations continue. For the past 3 hours, officers have been trying to reason with Joseph, urging him to surrender and release the hostages. But Joseph refuses. He won't let anyone go, and threatens to kill the entire family if officers attempt to force entry. With 3 people at fatal risk, a precise sniper shot becomes the only way to end the standoff before it turns deadly. But before Officer Tadahara gets that opportunity, he receives crucial information that makes things a lot more risky.
The difference between suspect victim. Suspect used to have a shorter, wide nose. But a slightly round face. If suspect has a vascular done.
Unfortunately for Tadahara, the situation just became far more complicated. One of the hostages inside is a male who closely resembles Joseph. One wrong shot and an innocent person could be killed. With that in mind, Tadahara shifts his position to a different house across the street. He needs an angle facing the front door of the Samuelsons' home. The shot at this distance travels roughly 75 to 100 feet and takes less than a second from decision to impact. At the same time, negotiators reassess their approach. What's been alarming them throughout the standoff is that Joseph hasn't made any traditional demands. He didn't ask for money, car, or safe passage. Instead, he's simply refusing to let anyone go. That behavior begins to make sense once investigators provide more insight into Joseph's condition. According to them, his mental state has been deteriorating for hours. He's been heavily using drugs for days, his thinking is no longer rational or strategic, and his behavior is increasingly volatile. Most concerning of all, Joseph isn't releasing the hostages or surrendering. His endgame appears to be killing people he blames for all his problems, then forcing police to kill him or take his own life. Because of this assessment, SWAT officers remain positioned far back to avoid provoking him. Negotiators then ask Joseph to step outside the front door with the hostages to prove they're still alive. If he does, it will give Tadahara a clear view and a chance to take the shot. It takes time, but Joseph eventually agrees to walk to the front door with the hostages while warning he'll shoot them if officers make any aggressive moves. After 2 days of chasing Joseph, officers finally have a chance to bring his violent rampage to an end. With the SWAT team nearby staged for immediate entry, Officer Tadahara prepares to take the shot. He stabilizes his rifle using a bipod, a small stand attached to the gun, then lies prone, steadies his aim, and slows down his breathing. A few seconds pass, and then the front door begins to open.
Mm.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Police! Gotcha, we got him. Come on, hands up, bro. I mean, I don't know, maybe a piece of his skull hit me or something, I don't know. You're good. You sure? Yeah, you're good. Maybe a piece of his skull hit me, like someone hit me and I'm going. Someone hit me right here. What do you see? Yep, grab me. Okay, you got anything? You're safe. You're safe.
After more than 6 hours trapped inside with an armed, unstable man, the entire family survives. An outcome that, just minutes earlier, felt far from guaranteed. At the front door, Joseph Manhart lies critically wounded. Paramedics rush him to the hospital, but despite life-saving efforts, he's later pronounced dead. Investigators later determined that Joseph's actions were driven by a rapid collapse. His failed relationship and heavy drug use pushed him into increasingly violent and reckless behavior. By the end, he wasn't trying to escape or survive. He was acting like someone who had nothing left to lose.
Is that your phone? Your phone ringing.
Detectives are making their way inside 19-year-old Drake Beckett's apartment. In just a few seconds, he's about to hear something that will change his life forever.
So, your grandma, we found her, but she's dead.
Drake's grandmother, 65-year-old Marilyn Gandert, was last seen walking outside her home before disappearing without a trace. Police initially believed they were dealing with a routine missing persons report, but over the next few weeks, this case will slowly turn into one of the most tragic and disturbing double homicide investigations they've ever worked on.
You didn't have that many friends, you're like me, kind of solitary.
Hey, welcome in. This piece is giving me a hard time. Oh, there we go. How's it going?
So did you do that for her?
It's around 2 p.m. in the afternoon when Albuquerque police receive a routine welfare check call. Unknowingly, this marks the first clue in one of the most gruesome and twisted mysteries the city has ever seen.
Albuquerque Police, how can I help you? I'm at my sister's house and she's not here. And I have to be able to get a hold of her and she usually gets back to me, so I call her every morning and night.
And what's your sister's name?
Marilyn Gandert. Well, her vehicle's here and that's how she travels. So I'm getting worried now.
Okay.
It's not a good day.
Following the 911 call, Officer Barnhill is dispatched to the address to check on Marilyn. When he arrives, he finds Marilyn's younger brother waiting outside the home. Neither of them have any idea what disturbing clues are waiting inside the house.
Definitely. What's going on though? Just odd that she's not answering the door or
Answering the door, the phone is, like it goes directly to voicemail. We left a note there yesterday. It's still there. Her vehicle is here, that's what she drives. So I don't know.
is there another place she goes?
No,
I've been
you
asleep.
didn't have that many friends, so like me, kind of solitary.
Yeah. I had to like, yeah, move with my time.
I left messages, I left her yesterday, and it's still there.
This is Harry Gambert, Marilyn's brother. He sounds genuinely worried for his sister, especially since she's the only family he has left. Harry goes on to explain that Marilyn is a postal worker who adores her dogs and would never leave them alone. They helped her cope with her grief after her middle-aged son Ryan took his own life 3 years ago. In reality, Ryan's death was never as simple as it seemed. And unbeknownst to Harry, the decisions his sister made in the aftermath are the very reason she's now missing. However, what really happened to Marilyn slowly begins to unravel when her best friend and neighbor, Nancy, arrives with concerns of her own.
Is that her?
Thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you.
It's just not like, and I just did Taylor Bench, and I'm glad to see your vehicle, but it's scary. So did you, have you gone in, did you have a key?
Do you have a key?
No.
Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Go in the back and see if I can see.
Bathroom break. Huh? Yeah. I know, it do look like Arizona. Come on here. It do. Them houses, them rocks. I don't know. I didn't hear it. If he didn't say Arizona, I think it was Utah. It was one or the other.
That's when he makes the first of several strange and unsettling observations.
Hey guys, happy to see you. So we're doing a bathroom break, but be back to braiding soon. Just wanted to say hi. Hope you guys are having a good Friday. Girl, yeah, I could definitely help you with your toddler.
That's fine. I just don't want you to get hurt, okay?
Nancy appears restless, convinced that something is deeply wrong. Even though Officer Barnhill tries to reassure her, he can sense it too. Something isn't right. So before stepping inside, Barnhill radios for additional units to respond to the scene. And as more officers begin to arrive, they prepare to enter the house, fully expecting to find
Candy, you got another client?
body inside.
Oh, okay. You think you could go get a filter? Y'all see how she treated me? They asked me yesterday if I do your hair. I said nope, but you can follow her on Instagram at Melted by Kay. Go over there and like and subscribe. Go get a filter for that.
Oh, from where?
Home Depot up the street.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can go.
I don't know what size it is though. You just go in and say, "Where's your air filters?"
Okay.
And then you could tell them what size it is. We gotta use something to undo that and pull it down. And that's why I wanted the hand vacuum, because then we could have just did that and not even gotten another filter. You know what I mean? I seen some people where they just do that and it takes all the dust right off. Cause also, oh my bad, Dad. I'm all in your face. But even like the other small ones, like in your room and in the bathroom, we could get them. Yeah. So do you think we should just get one of those? They got one. I mean, we could get one of those from Home Depot. Okay. Yeah, just get one of those then, and I'll give you half on it. What else we need? Paper towels while you're there.
Yeah.
What? You couldn't get it from there? Yeah. It'd probably be the best deal too, you know what I mean? Oh, talking to Candy.
He just doesn't get the help he needs, and you can't force that on him.
Oh, Candace, I'm gonna call you later. I got so many ideas. But it's the same ideas that I had last year, but now I'm gonna implement them. Remember the Fancy Academy when you recorded me?
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna do it as a digital product and make a little.
Because, and I can see some people go away because even some of my clients, like, they be like, I want to learn how to braid. I want to learn how to braid. They be like, I know how to plait, but I don't know how to cornrow.
Okay.
And some of them be like, I don't know how to feed in hair.
Okay.
And like I have like mom clients who want to do like their kids' hair.
Yes.
But they don't know how to like feed in the not the boho pieces.
Yes. Or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
I gotta ask my mom for you to her send you a little video or something. But
Yeah.
now you drop the thing. I'm like, you better.
And then I give you the link to my little store, and then they can just So I'm gonna do like several small like mini series, and then I'm gonna do like a bundle where you can get the whole set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause remember that's how we got some of our technique. Remember I had bought that class. Them videos was long, and it was irritating. No, I'm thinking 45 minutes per 45 minutes per little technique. So I'm gonna break it up.
Yeah.
First one might be plaits. Second one might be part 2 cornrows. More in depth. Yep. Cause so many people ask me to teach them how to braid, and a lot of people be in my live saying that they're learning from me by watching.
So what's going on?
So digital product coming soon. Okay.
Yeah, she on Friday, she said come on Saturday morning and get the key because like we had done it for 3 days and she's like, you guys haven't done anything to the house, so I want to rest because I'm going to work all day. So I said I'm going to come by in about an hour for the keys. I don't have like the because I told her when I am.
Oh, okay.
Since she wasn't answering me, but she doesn't always answer me.
So the last one you got from her
Was at 10:35 on the 26th. That was Friday.
Do you know where she would be right now?
I honestly don't, and that's
Because somebody's trying to report her as missing.
And it's her brother. He called me yesterday too, and I'm worried too. That's what I said. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to help you? I don't know. I left here, and she on Friday, and she said, "Come in the morning and get the key." And then she said, "I really don't want to go because you guys, I've been there for 3 days. I'm tired. I got to work on Monday." She wanted me out. I've accepted it. I'm leaving
Did
the
she
house.
legally evict you, or did she just tell you to leave? Okay.
But she gave me extra time because if you knew how much stuff I had, I mean, I have 23 years of my life. I have
Sure. I've been here before.
Yeah.
Reference,
Drake.
yeah. Where's Drake?
He's gotten better. He doesn't really help me. That's why I don't. He came over. He helps me. He helps me a little bit. And
Yeah.
no.
So you're here alone?
No, I have my phone down.
So-
We're just getting it cleaned up and packing everything. Like I have a lot of books. Like,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Do you have your ID? I'm just gonna know if you were here and I spoke to you.
According to Alyssa, she'd
Yeah, I'll
been
be right
leaving
back.
her things out
Okay.
while her son, Drake, and her roommate, Annie, were helping. Marilyn had given her extra days to move out, and the messages on her phone seemed to confirm this. But it's still unclear why exactly Marilyn was evicting her daughter-in-law and grandson, something that will later turn out to be central to Marilyn's disappearance. For now, though, what catches the officer's attention is that they've been to this house before, responding to domestic incidents involving Alyssa's son, Drake, who suffers from schizophrenia. He also has a previous charge of battery on a peace officer. So far, Alyssa's story seems to check out, but the moment she steps inside, Officer Barnhill makes an interesting observation.
Oh, wait, no, they put the top, it didn't touch the key. Okay, never mind.
She spoke to her on Friday. You guys got a key.
Using the scratches on it.
Okay.
Scratches on it.
Well, she's moving now.
23 scratches on the neck. For moving.
I know I'm bleeding when I move.
I'm about over it, but I'm not right
This
now.
finger does the scratches.
I'm about over it now. I'm gonna leave it at the house.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your cooperation. Have a
I'm
good
supposed
day.
to
You
get
go
some
away.
food, but
The scratch marks Officer Barnhill notices are hard to ignore, but their origin remains remains unclear. What has yet to dawn on these officers is that the marks might be linked to Alyssa's deceased husband, Ryan Pickett, as the couple allegedly had a years-long relationship filled with physical and mental abuse. A hidden detail that will soon send investigators down a rabbit hole. But before officers can dig deeper, a familiar vehicle pulls up by the side of the road. It's Marilyn's neighbor, Nancy. She's curious about what the officers have uncovered so far, but more intriguingly, she seems to be several steps ahead of them.
So, we're not able to call the homeowner at this time. Obviously, she's being entered as missing as far as we know. Homeowner. She does have text messages saying for her to come get the key last Friday. And she would give her a little extra time to move her stuff out of what she's doing today.
Come get the key on Friday. That is so not Maryland. That's somebody texting from Maryland's phone.
Yeah, and I don't know Marilyn.
15 years I worked with her as a letter carrier at the post office.
But let's hope that's not the case. And hopefully Marilyn has taken a mental break for a couple days. But, okay. Bye, Mia. We'll see you later.
Clearly, Nancy is not convinced. She's known Marilyn for years and insists that Marilyn wouldn't have handed the keys to Alyssa willingly. She would have wanted to be there for the eviction herself. Initially, officers are ready to leave the scene, but Nancy's words make them hesitate. Her insight shifts their thinking, and they decide it's best to return to Alyssa's house and request permission to search. It seems like the right decision, but in the process of carrying it out, the officers will overlook something crucial.
Exterior your door.
Yeah, I just trying to solve. Just put it here so we can go.
Right, where are you moving to?
Well, I don't know yet.
Oh, no. Precarious.
Apartment or storage unit for the moment, huh?
Yeah, I know. And then those are from Drake, you know. And that one, I can help you open.
This one?
Yeah, well, because this. So I got it a little close. I'm getting there. Like, I'm really getting there. I'm trying to get it all organized. My room is the most.
This from Drake?
Yeah. He just bangs his head in on. He's like, whatever, I'm gonna fix it. This too. This is how it was the last time too. But I can't just put him on the
I
screen.
got those same button tags.
You do?
Yeah, my sister-in-law gave them to me.
Uh-oh.
Years ago.
Yeah.
We're still dating now.
Sometimes she gets mad and won't even talk to me, so. And she's mad at me, and so, but she's been pretty cordial with me, and I've been, you know, and she's like, I noticed you haven't heard anything, so let's just, you know, try to figure stuff out.
As officers walk through the house, they notice multiple holes punched in the walls by Alyssa's son, Drake, leading them to believe it's likely the reason Marilyn wanted them evicted. But they couldn't have been more wrong. Amid the clutter, the officers make a critical mistake. They overlook crucial evidence that could have made Alyssa a prime suspect. Marilyn's purse, medication, vehicle keys, and something far more gruesome. With nothing substantial and no clear reason to suspect Alyssa, the officers leave the scene empty-handed. But just before heading back to the station, they make one final encounter with a passing neighbor. Someone who offers a chilling hint as to why Marilyn was so determined to evict Alyssa.
They were evicted last week. When was the last time you saw the property owner? Thursday or Friday? Thursday or Friday? Marilyn Gander is the property owner. She said they were not supposed to be here without her being present. But we not put those people past making sure she disappeared. Just because you know the history of the house, Russian roulette games.
Needless to say, the neighbor's remark reveals even more concerning details, but with no concrete evidence, officers are left with little they can act on. So with all of the statements and information they've gathered, officers return to the station and pass it along to investigators, who spend the next couple days combing through files. What they uncover next is a twist no one could have anticipated. As investigators dig into Marilyn's inner circle, they quickly find themselves down a rabbit hole of potential double murder. It turns out that Marilyn's son, Ryan Bickett, who was also Alyssa's husband, had been allegedly playing Russian roulette inside that very house when he took his own life 3 years ago. Reports show that Ryan was allegedly abusive towards Alyssa, and the two had a tumultuous relationship leading up to his death. Investigators also learned that Marilyn had allowed Alyssa and her grandson Drake to continue living in their home, but only on the condition of paying rent. With Marilyn now mysteriously gone, detectives begin to suspect that Alyssa might be involved in her disappearance. They theorized that Alyssa could have been responsible for Ryan's death, and that after years of enduring the ongoing abuse, Marilyn, out of compassion, allowed Alyssa to stay rent-free for some time. But when Marilyn started demanding rent, the tension between them escalated to a dangerous point. With this in mind, detectives now find themselves investigating a possible double homicide of a mother and her son. But with little more than speculation and no solid leads, the case remains an unresolved mystery. Around noon on January 27th, police in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, receive a call from a remote location.
Seminole County 911, what is the exact location of the emergency?
Out here in Encino and Northern,
Can you tell me exactly what happened?
we think we found a body out here in a room, and somebody has put it on like a mattress or something, burned it. And it looks like it has bones in it, and you can see I don't know.
Wow.
You just see them touching the gun, cause they burned the body. How the hell you see them touching the gun? You know about that?
Right. I would think so. I would think so. Ugh.
For bodies, and the very reason so many mysteries from miles away go cold, as this officer is about to discover.
Go down to this first corner, take a right, take to the first road, take a left, and it's right there. It's I died. It looks like a body to me. I don't know, man. It looks like it has arms. Looks like it has hands. They're all curled up. And I don't know. It's like you can see bones out of the knees, and it looked like it had lips and teeth. And I see like organs or anything.
Sorry.
Yeah, there was like intestines and stuff.
Any hair?
I didn't see any hair. It looked like the head. It looked like it had clothes on it.
Wow.
But I
It looked like it had clothes on. Wow.
Yeah. Let's do that. Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is Detective Myers, being led to what a witness claims is a charred body by the side of a deserted road. He has no idea just how brutal the scene awaiting him truly is, and that it holds the key to solving a mystery nearly 30 miles away.
That's not really. It looks like it has lips and teeth in there. Oh, I don't know if it's real or.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, it looks like a burnt body. It's got hair. It looks almost like a kid. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like a really small son. It's been, I mean, I'll let you do the judging to get out here, but from what I can tell, it's got hair, it's got a mouth, it's got intestines. It looks like a burnt body.
The body is completely unrecognizable, with organs exposed, and it appears to be a woman of small build. However, the couple who discovered the body noticed something else, something that would point to not one, but multiple twisted killers.
That's the only one. There's nobody out here that you saw.
No sounds, nothing. They're tired and tired.
Yeah, you got pictures of them, just so we can differentiate them.
They did say that they've had footprints heading for the east, you know.
They saw one on the road.
One set.
They saw one set coming in and one set going out, so I don't know.
The tracks looked like they could be possible, but they were small.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think those views are more than helpful. We appreciate it, and I'll do that. Okay, hopefully it's on hold. It's great. Yeah, that's what we can hope for, so we'll see. Have a good one, folks. All right, thanks.
According to the witness, residents nearby noticed at least 2 sets of footprints, both looking like women's shoes. Officers secure the scene, record witness statements, and transport the body for autopsy. An almost impossible task, given the body's advanced state of decay. 72 hours later, the findings arrive. Tragically, the woman by the side of the road has been identified as a resident of Albuquerque, none other than the missing 65-year-old Marilyn Gandert. The identification was made through dental records, confirming the worst fears of those searching for her. Immediately after this revelation, the Sandoval officers make an urgent call to Albuquerque police to inform them. Upon receiving the news, investigators immediately start to seriously consider the double homicide theory that Alyssa killed her husband 3 years ago and now her mother. Investigators didn't know it at the time, but they haven't even uncovered the worst part yet, because one final twist was waiting, something they never could have seen coming. After the tragic discovery, investigators become convinced Marilyn's daughter-in-law is involved in the murder. But with no concrete evidence yet, they decide to keep Marilyn's death secret while they investigate further. To get some hard proof, detectives decide to visit Marilyn's brother Harry, the man who reported her missing and who's been looking for her for days. When they arrive at his house, they have no choice but to break the tragic news to him.
Are you Harry? Hi, I'm Detective on the back. I'm supposed to you on the phone. Yeah. I think my shoes are right up here outside. Okay, would you prefer we come inside? It's a mess. I don't think it's fine. Can you lock the door? Yes, if you would, please. So I told you I was going to keep you up to date as to everything as well. We talked to Sandoval County, the detectives with them who were working it. Yeah. The body that she suspected in Rio Rancho, the burnt one, was positively identified as Marilyn. Could you have a seat, sir? Yes. I'm so sorry we have to come and bring you this news. Harry, I'm so
Oh, these small is given. Yes.
Is there anybody we can call to be with you right now?
No, I'm kind of a well-paid person.
Harry?
Harry is devastated. Without Marilyn, he has no one close to him, except her 2 dogs, who have just lost their loving owner. But upon hearing this tragic news, he becomes more certain than ever he knows who might be responsible for his sister's death and why.
We're in the process of getting some search warrants for your sister's house.
Yeah.
And for the rental property. Okay, because
well, there shouldn't be anybody with rentals. Was she shot or something?
And that we don't know. All we know is that they positively ID'd her, and I believe it was through dental records. So I believe they're still doing their investigation.
Her belongings are probably not there, or no, we don't know what happened.
Don't know. So we're gonna try to get the warrants done tonight, if possible.
Did she ever make any statements in the past about wanting to harm herself at all? And she never attempted to harm herself or take her own life or anything? Never talked about it?
I guess the only thing I can think of is the addiction thing. I can't think of any other reason why they would have done something.
And Detective Juarez is going to look at everything. She's not going to leave any stone unturned.
It's the last person. That's the means, or drug dealers or something like that. Think that Lisa lies all this time. She promised to pay the rent in jail. She just got tired this time, and I told her, well, what are you going to do? I don't know what I could have done. I always wanted her to either move over here or...
There's nothing you could have done, sir. It's one of those things.
But still, yeah, Lisa would be the person I would kind of talk to see who could really bad.
Harry blames himself for telling Marilyn to evict Alyssa, fearing that decision may have sparked the chain of events that ultimately led to her death. Following this, officers urgently moved to secure a warrant for the rental property, officially placing Alyssa at the center of their investigation as the primary suspect. At the same time, detectives decide to visit someone else, someone very familiar to Marilyn and law enforcement, her grandson, Drake. He'd been staying with his mother, Alyssa, when Marilyn went missing, but is now living with his girlfriend, Nikki, at a hotel. An address officers obtained from Alyssa during the welfare check. From past encounters, officers know Drake suffers from schizophrenia and has a history with police, but they don't suspect him to be involved. But that won't be the case for long, because when detectives arrive at this apartment, they'll quickly realize Drake knows far more than they do. But before we get to that, most days are long, stressful, and by the time dinner comes around, the last thing I want to do is figure out what to make. That's why I've been using HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, everything shows up already planned and ready to go. So I can actually enjoy making dinner instead of stressing about grocery shopping or missing ingredients. And it's not just convenient. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit with over 100 recipes to choose from every week. You get to pick from all kinds of cuisines, plus over 35 high-protein meals each week, including new Mediterranean and GLP-1 friendly options. I personally love the new high-protein Mediterranean chicken bowl with couscous and yogurt sauce. On top of that, HelloFresh uses sustainably sourced seafood and 100% antibiotic and hormone-free chicken. So, you're eating clean. And now they're offering 3 times the seafood options at no extra cost. If you want to make eating at home more enjoyable and healthier, HelloFresh makes that a lot easier. I use it, and you should too. Go to HelloFresh.com/DrInsanity10FM to get 10 free meals and a free swelling knife, a $144.99.
Okay, that looks good.
Your 3rd box. Offer valid while supplies last. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New
Okay.
subscribers only, varies by plan. With that
I need to
said,
use that
let's
for
get back to the
my
investigation.
Haroni.
Detectives
Okay.
are about to speak with Marilyn's grandson
Okay.
and quietly
Yes.
pick up on something he doesn't
Okay,
want to
yes.
know.
Yeah, because or like my hair tie.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd just be much better to be able to just get the hair up like that.
Yeah, get the hair up like that.
When did you,
Mhm.
so you moved out about a week ago?
Yeah,
Who did you live with?
I lived with my mother.
Do we have to let it charge or what?
I don't know.
What's the situation?
My grandmother was keeping us out. Well, that's what my mother told me.
How did that make your mom feel?
Oh, she was pretty upset.
Yeah,
She was really upset.
okay. What did she tell you?
How much was it?
She was just like, I don't know where I'm gonna stay and stuff like that.
Your grandma, we found her, but she's dead.
Where at?
Hmm?
We believe that it's suspicious.
Okay.
It was either 40
Okay, we think someone killed her.
When?
And I'm really sorry.
Was she's murdered? Or like she's just dead?
No, someone murdered her. Well, that's what we want to know.
Was I just under the impression that?
Yeah, and I can tell you that mom's story isn't matching up with your story or your story. And with, yeah.
Drake's reaction is hard to miss, and investigators can sense something is off. His pupils are dilated, leading them to suspect he's on drugs. But his reaction is hardly convincing, and it's clear there's something he's hiding. Despite their growing suspicions, there's no solid evidence to prove Drake is involved, so detectives leave the apartment for now. Later that night, confirmation comes through. The search warrant has been approved. Police immediately rush back to the rental property, hoping Alyssa hasn't had enough time to destroy crucial evidence. But this time, they'll find her waiting for them, and she's far less cooperative
Thank you,
than
friend.
before.
I appreciate you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good, you want to sit down home? Okay, is there anything else I can help you with? All right, sit down home. Okay, so this is the situation, okay? First off, we're investigating the disappearance of your mom.
It's my mother-in-law.
Your mother-in-law, okay? We actually have to secure the house.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get all my stuff out.
Okay. All right, so unfortunately, I can't let you go back inside,
I have things in there.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I need my phone to
Okay, unfortunately, like I said.
You're not gonna let me get it?
No, I'm not gonna let you get it, man.
Well,
I have no. I know.
so listen, Mom, can you talk to me first?
Yes, that's not fair.
Okay, would you feel comfortable to do this in my car, so it's warm? You good?
I mean, my jacket, I can get it.
Okay, how many people live there with you?
It was me, Nikki, Annie, and Drake. Drake is my son.
Now, you mentioned that she was mad at who?
She was mad at Annie. She's mad at all of us. She was mad at Annie because she didn't like her being here because she says she didn't pay rent. Marilyn's yelling at us, and then Marilyn said, I ought to just die because
I'm gonna go again. I just go to you.
she blamed me.
Oh, would you give me something?
So,
I'm gonna forget.
Okay.
Be here when I get back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cheryl.
Well, I was I mean, I'm not at her for that. I mean, but
Okay.
I mean, it makes me sad. I'm not gonna do it.
Cool. I just need some gel and lock gel because I'm doing Javante's hair too. Next week. It's the same brand. You want me to take a picture? Send a picture of both of them? Okay.
As suspected, Alyssa's reaction confirms what detectives have been theorizing. The real reason Marilyn evicted Alyssa was tied to her husband Ryan's untimely death. Alyssa herself just admitted that Marilyn had been blaming her for it, which sparked multiple heated arguments between them. But despite her growing anger, Alyssa still has no idea that her mother-in-law has been found brutally murdered. And even though detectives have shown up with a search warrant, she strangely doesn't ask them any questions about Marilyn's whereabouts. Instead, she seems far more focused on retrieving certain items from the house, things she knows, when discovered, will ruin her life and the lives of 2 others forever.
This is the Albuquerque Police Department. Take Preston now.
For the moment, the house appears meticulously clean, with no obvious signs that Marilyn was ever there. Yet officers find clothes and a purse that appear to belong to her. As the search continues, a vehicle pulls up by the side of the road. It's Alyssa's roommate, Annie. When an officer approaches to speak with her, it quickly becomes clear she knows something terrible has happened, but has no intention of sharing it with them.
How you doing? Hey, sorry to flash this in your eyes. Okay, is there anybody else in the car? I mean, so would you mind speaking with us?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I know, you probably like what? You probably are just trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, I kind of know a little bit.
What do you know? Tell me what you know.
I know that, our mother-in-law that they rent from, she's missing. So, I mean, we talk.
So that's exactly what we're here for.
Right.
We're trying to figure out, where she's at, because, we deal with missing persons a lot. Sometimes, they have dementia or whatever, they'll leave for a couple days and then come back. But it's cold. We want to try to find her.
So this is my client's second time getting this installed. The first time she kept it in about 2 months. And the same thing for me. I had my first set in for 2 months. So it's about how long we can have it in. This one might last a little bit longer because we're doing small, as you can see. So this may last her three months. Who knows? We'll see.
I'm not trying to disrespect you. Like, we're moving out. I feel like the list is being attacked right now by this is crazy. Like, this is nuts.
More importantly, we gotta get a search warrant on the house.
Of course, yeah. Please listen. By all means, I will cooperate with you.
It seems like Annie is more cordial than Alyssa, but still clearly annoyed by the heavy presence of police. Ironically, this officer is unknowingly standing next to the very person who will end up solving Marilyn's murder. For now, though, police inside the house continue the search, and that's when one officer spots something. A tiny speck of blood on the wall and carpet gives police reason to suspect that Marilyn may have been murdered inside this house. Officers move quickly to secure the scene and send the evidence to the lab for DNA analysis, and prepare to inform Alyssa that her mother-in-law is dead, and that she's the prime suspect in her murder.
Which police is it? That's trying to make sure that's okay. This officer's gonna transport you there. You're gonna meet with another detective, and we're gonna sit down and have a chat, okay?
After Alyssa is arrested, her roommate Annie is also taken into custody after officers searched her car and discovered bloodstains inside, raising serious concerns about her involvement. At the same time, officers rush to the hotel where Drake is staying, and he's arrested on suspicion of being an accessory to murder. With all three suspects brought into the station, they are immediately separated as the detective prepares to interview each one. The strategy is simple. Find inconsistencies in their stories and provoke a confession from at least one of them. Because Alyssa is the prime suspect, detectives decide to start with her. She's the one they believe killed Marilyn, and they're quietly suspecting her involvement in her husband's death as well.
Thank you.
So when detectives sit down with Alyssa, they think they're on the verge of capturing a potential
Yes,
double
me
murderer.
too. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. It's already given, right?
How do you know? Mother-in-law. Okay. I don't know how you feel close to my husband, but he passed away last year.
Miracle knots.
So am I correct by saying that eventually you guys were in favor? Yes. Okay. How did that come about?
Yes. I wish I could do mine this small, guys, but it would take me forever to do my own hair this small. It would take me like 6 hours, 7 hours to do my own hair this little. So I just stick to medium on mine.
Some evidence has come to light that isn't bearing very positively in your favor.
Okay, very cute and easy. Okay, easy to get in, easy to get out.
Of your own opportunities to do that.
Thank
Would there
you.
be any reason that we will find Marilyn's blood in there?
I don't know. Marilyn clearly like taking things off the walls, and for me, I'm like Marilyn to stop, so I don't know.
Is there going to be any reason if we pull that?
Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel. It really helps. I appreciate your support. We almost monetized, guys. I'm so excited about it. I've been very consistent on this channel, so. And I love to be here with you and show you my work.
Well, I don't know. I haven't done anything. Well, I haven't done anything. I don't know if anybody's doing anything, so we haven't done anything.
You guys didn't do a very good job on the walls because there's still blood spatter on the walls.
Mm.
Very small. But you didn't do a very good job because we were able to locate it.
I know I wasn't. I'm just gonna have that right.
You do know.
So I can
Clearly, Alyssa is shaken by the accusations and abruptly refuses to say anything more. In reality, this is the smartest move she can make, especially since detectives are already armed with stacks of evidence and a growing list of contradictions. Contradictions like how she initially claimed to have seen Marilyn on Saturday morning, but that would have been impossible as Marilyn's body was found Friday night. On top of that, Alyssa has no explanation for the bloodstains found inside the house. But even though Alyssa shut down the interview and asked for a lawyer, investigators still believe they have their killer. But that won't be the case for long, as they move on to speak with the other two remaining suspects. When investigators sit down with Alyssa's son Drake, they expect the same denials. But Drake is about to do the complete opposite, and he has a very unusual twist in store for everyone.
So just to let you know, I'm not here on the warrant.
Okay.
Okay? I'm here on the situation that happened with your grandma.
Okay.
Okay? So that's what I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
I
Now
don't-
she's missing?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know what's going on with that other warrant of yours. I know I heard that you failed to appear in court, so they issued you a warrant. And I don't know what that warrant was for. Okay? So I want to talk to you about your grandma.
Okay.
About Marilyn. Okay? But I wrote a warrant for you for the homicide of your grandma. So I'm actually charging you with homicide. Okay? I've already had your mom, your mom's arrested, and Annie's arrested. Okay? So I have enough probable cause to believe that you were involved in the homicide of your grandma.
How so? Oh yeah, you're the detective.
I am the detective. You remember me now? Yeah. Okay.
Well, that problem my house, like I'm gonna tell you the honesty. My grandmother said I'm
Caught me out of the pond farm. I can't hear you.
Will you please kill me? Multiple times, drunk and sober.
Okay.
That is honestly.
So back in
So I was just like, respect, like, because I can understand. I don't know if you guys can understand, but I expect you guys to be able to understand. If an old woman is like old and having to work for her children, right? Then I'll do what she wants.
Undoubtedly, this statement from Drake catches the detective off guard. Not only does he outright confess to the murder of his own grandmother, but he also gives the most bizarre reason imaginable. Despite finally getting a confession, the detective isn't convinced. It seems like Drake is just trying to take the full blame and protect his mother. The story he's offering is so outlandish that the detective decides to give him another chance.
So you're saying that at some point your grandma asked you to kill her?
Like she was like, yeah, I get real tired and
He's. So your grandma asked you to kill her. Okay.
yeah,
When did you?
in my house, like that's what she wanted, obviously.
Obviously.
Like I'm gonna cover it up or whatever, and I want to get caught.
Oh, so that must have been really hard.
Yeah, I was there, and she would be like depressed, you know?
Right.
And she was just getting old, and every day she would work, and she would
What'd
pay,
your grandma do?
she would pay for my stuff, and like, she first started said that. I know she said that.
She asked you.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Would I have to tell somebody before I do so?
You shouldn't do it.
I respect her decision as a tired 65-year-old lady right after her son passing away, having a grandson with a different family. Is she truly better off?
Did you think she was?
It looked like she was. She said she was. So I passed her away. You know what I'm saying? Like.
So how did you do it?
That's it. Like that's all the information without a lawyer or a company defender I'd like to share.
Okay, so you don't want to talk anymore after that? Okay.
Did you just admitted to killing his grandma?
Yes. And said because his grandma told him that she wanted to go. And his grandma asked him to kill her. Get out of here.
And he simply fulfilled her wish. And with an attorney requested, the detective has no choice but to accept his bizarre confession. If Drake truly killed his own grandmother and covered it up, that would ensure his mother Alyssa walks free. Even if detectives suspect her involvement in not one, but 2 murders, they have no hard proof against her. With the risk of letting a potential double homicide suspect walk free, detectives know they have one final chance to get the truth. There's still one more suspect in custody, Alyssa's roommate, Annie. Once detectives move on to speak with her, they know her statement could either confirm their suspicions or reveal they've been chasing the wrong suspect all along.
So basically, I'm pretty much just gonna turn this over to you. I'm gonna allow you to talk, tell me what you know, what occurred with Marilyn Gander.
We all were in Alyssa's room getting high, and Marilyn was outside.
When you say we all, who are you referring to?
Drake and Alyssa.
Okay, so you guys are in Alyssa's bedroom getting high. What are you getting high on?
Meth.
Meth, okay.
Alyssa, like, she had brought it up before about killing Marilyn. I thought she was joking, and then
Her own mama.
walking around the room, I opened the door and I kind of she just told me when she nods, because she would pretend that she was the Don, like the Godfather. She just told me when I nod, get her, Marilyn was coming in. I turned down and was like looked at me and nodded again. I started walking like quickly behind them and I got Marilyn and from behind and took her down. And at that point I had gotten off of Marilyn because I had to leave down and drink out of her. I think I yelled at Alyssa to get something to cover her mouth. She brought some wrap that she was using to pack, and she gave that thing to Drake, and Drake started beating her. We all took turns.
Now all 3 of y'all going to prison.
Started gone at it a bunch of times, and I grabbed the knife from him and had already cut her throat.
Thank you for putting the fire emoji
Unexpected
in the
stroke of luck.
comments.
Annie gives detectives exactly what they hoped for, a full confession of what truly happened to Marilyn. With this breakthrough, all 3 suspects are charged with open counts of homicide, giving police time to investigate further before determining the degree of murder. During this time, detectives receive DNA evidence from bloodstains collected at the rental house. The DNA matches Marilyn's, providing the final missing piece to solve this case. Investigators conclude that Marilyn's death was a coordinated, premeditated murder carried out by Alyssa, her son Drake, and roommate Annie. They determined that Marilyn was beaten to the ground by Annie before Alyssa struck her in the head with a small club. Then she was stabbed nearly a dozen times in the neck by her own grandson Drake. The killer trio then transported her body to a remote location in Rio Rancho, where they set her body on fire, hoping to destroy any evidence. Investigators also revisit Ryan Bickett's case, Marilyn's son and Alyssa's husband. However, despite their suspicions, no new evidence suggests foul play, and the conclusion remains the same. Ryan took his own life. In 2019, a year after Marilyn's death, the trio accepts plea deals to avoid trial. Annie Royale pleads guilty to second-degree murder, receiving a 12-year sentence in exchange for her testimony. Alyssa Bickett pleads guilty to second-degree murder and is sentenced to 30 years in prison, while her son Drake pleads guilty to second-degree murder and receives 26 years.
26 years. Oh, New Mexico, that's where they is at.
That's the nigga that should have stayed in line. He was a little nutty. He slid out throat and everything. He could have did the time a little longer.
Yes, and he younger, so he gonna be out at 40, right? Yep. 40, 50 years old, he'll be out of that.
This
Yeah.
is Jim Brenner, a farmer living in the remote Utah desert. Police don't know it yet, but he's showing them the exact building where a missing teenager was murdered just days earlier. 19-year-old Dylan Rounds had left his family to go work on his farm, but after being spotted buying supplies at a local shop, he would vanish without a trace. Strangely, no one in the small, quiet town seemed surprised. Apparently, this was not uncommon.
I told that kid to stay the hell out of Montello.
That hotel is crazy place.
Some other guy pointed a gun in my freaking face.
As days stretched into weeks, detectives chased a mounting list of suspects. Thieves, violent criminals, drug dealers, yet from the very beginning, the truth was there, hidden in plain sight by someone nobody suspected. It all began on a quiet evening when police received calls from a concerned family member reporting their son, Dylan Rounds, missing from his farm in Utah. They hadn't heard from him in over 2 days, and when they went to his property to check, there was no sign of him anywhere. A deputy was dispatched to Dylan's farm to meet with his family, but on his way there, he was stopped by a neighbor of Dylan, claiming he might know what happened to him.
He's been hanging out over that farm, Montello, and I can give you some names of some scumbags over there, but he can shoot his mouth off about how much money he's making. And there's one guy, Chase Detector, he's over there, and he can do anything he wants. He can rob and steal and everything, and Elko County Sheriff won't do anything. And if you talk to his mother, she knows more about it, but he ran into Chase on the road the other day, and Chase kind of scared him. What's your last name? Brenner, Jim Brenner. Well, I'll let you get down there before they disturb the crime scene. Okay, thank you.
As the conversation ended, Jim Brenner's strange remark about a crime scene left the deputy curious, since no crime was yet confirmed. It was an unsettling comment that would soon become a disturbing reality. For now, though, the deputy took note of this information and continued towards Dylan's farm to speak with his family.
No guns in there? He said he has authority that he puts in the door right inside. Did you just pop the back window? I broke it out.
At first glance, Dylan's red Ford truck appeared oddly abandoned, bearing signs of minor damage. But what concerned his father the most was that Dylan's guns had mysteriously vanished from the trailer, a detail that was strange on its own. Wanting to learn more about Dylan, the deputy turned to speak with his mother. She had her own troubling information to share about Dylan's recent run-in with a local criminal.
Where does he farm for out here?
Himself.
What does he farm for? Grain or?
Grain.
Grain?
Yeah.
James stopped me when you guys went around, Neil was talking to me. He said that you knew something about a run-in he had with a guy named Chase.
Yeah, on Wednesday, but they told me that's normal, so.
I know a lot of the people that he named from Montello are not good people. I only know of them from what people say.
Dylan's mother confirmed her son had in fact encountered Chase Venstra recently, the same person Dylan's neighbor had earlier described as a local thief and criminal. Given what the deputy learned so far, it seemed like Dylan might have unknowingly placed himself in danger. At just 19, he purchased 640 acres of land with his grandfather for an estimated $200,000 to $300,000 and built a reputation for his ambitious dreams of running a huge farm. But according to his neighbor, Dylan's confidence may have made him a target, as he often frequented rough local bars and talked openly about his financial success. After rehashing some more details with Dylan's parents, the neighbor, Jim Brainer, and his close friend, Donald Haley, arrived to help. Both men knew Dylan well. Jim was living in a trailer near Dylan's farm and occasionally helped him with chores. And Donald was a longtime friend of the family and a supportive mentor to Dylan's farming ambitions. But unbeknownst to everyone at the time, both men knew something more about Dylan's disappearance. Something they weren't ready to share yet.
I did get the last location was 15.4 miles from the boat line tower, which puts it on this back road.
So would that keep him walking? Okay, I know my son, and that's the shortest route to his camp.
If he walked, that road ends right out here. If he walked, he would have come to this corner, cut across this field.
But that's as close as cell phone, Pete. Not in town, it's out here.
Off of that road, the back road into the compound.
Can we go down to where it is?
Yeah.
What time was that? Does it tell you?
That was at 14:58.
So right after.
So just before 3 o'clock.
Right after you left. So he must have pulled in right behind you, dropped off the braid truck, and I'm telling you, I bet you he took off walking.
No. How do you get to that road from Moore? So we don't have to go all the way back to the same pond and over.
No, I guess we're good. Okay.
Following this lead, they quickly headed to the shed area to investigate. That's when they discovered the first troubling sign of foul play. Dylan's boots were found stained with blood, discarded about 100 yards south of the shed. The deputy immediately secured the boots to send them off for DNA testing and called another deputy to help search the shed and the surrounding property. However, they had no way of knowing that the biggest clue they were looking for was submerged 20 feet deep in a pond nearby.
There's just some boots out there they've only been out there for a day or two. You didn't see anybody else around here?
I left here about 1:30, no, dawn.
Yeah, I was there until about 9 o'clock at night. When I come back, that truck was
It's just one thing after another. Yeah, but he's a friend of mine.
Sure. You don't get rid of friends. Those two boots out there, they're brand new. Like they've only been out there. They're the same color leather as your boots. And they're the same ones he wears. So we're just curious of why his boots would be out there. Same size he wears. They've only been out there probably for a day or two.
He might have threw him out.
Yeah, maybe he did. Well, does he know that's a dump out there?
Yeah.
He does?
He's got electronics and shit in there. So I'd say he was here. He had to have been here. Brought the truck here.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Based on Jim Brenner's timeline, whatever happened to Dylan likely occurred between 1:30 p.m. and 9 o'clock p.m., the hours when Jim left the shed to visit his friend, Donald Hately. Police quickly verified Brenner's timeline with his friend Donald, who confirms that they had dinner together during that time. With Dylan's exact movements still unclear, deputies requested a helicopter to scout the area from above, looking for any trace of Dylan.
So who owns this right here? That's the guy that he's a partner with. This is where he dropped the grade truck off. Where is this grade truck? It's backed into that silver building there. So the big one? Yeah. Do you want to go higher, Mike, or you could, please? Do a nice high over, you can look at everything with a camera, then we'll come back down and see if we see anything with her.
After a full sweep of the surrounding area, no sign of Dylan or any indication of where he might have gone was found. In the following days, the search efforts continued, and Daniel's family, alongside local volunteers, joined in. But despite their best efforts combing through the area, they too came up empty. Attention soon turned to the local criminal Chase Venstra. Both Dylan's mother and his neighbor Jim mentioned a recent encounter between the two, making Chase one of the last people to see Dylan alive. Additionally, Chase already had a history of violent run-ins with the law, including a 10-hour armed standoff with police in 2016, and was well known in the area for all the wrong reasons. Luckily for police, Chase had an active warrant related to domestic violence. It was their perfect chance to bring him in for questioning. But when officers arrived at the house to arrest him, Chase was nowhere to be found, potentially already on the run from police. Officers quickly began searching the town, asking if anyone had seen Chase recently. Locals directed them to the Montello Cowboy Bar, a place known to be frequented by Chase. Following this lead, officers headed to check the bar, where they would soon learn that Dylan and Chase's encounter may have been more dangerous than anyone realized. But before we get to that, it's worth noting that incidents like these are not only traumatic for those directly involved, but they can often have the same effects on you when you face difficult situations in your own life. I realized I simply wasn't equipped to manage what I was feeling on my own, and that there are professionals whose expertise is guiding people like me towards feeling better. My therapist gave me one simple assignment: write down how I felt every single hour. The patterns quickly became clear: what made me feel good and what made me feel bad. Reporting back kept me disciplined. Sharing each success made me proud. And the accountability stopped me from quitting. With those patterns in front of me, I could finally see what in my life had to change and how to change it. Today's sponsor, BetterHelp, makes finding that kind of help simple. Fill out a brief questionnaire to be matched with one of 30,000 licensed therapists. And if the first match isn't right, you can switch anytime at no extra cost. With over 9,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/DrInsanity and get 10% off your first month of therapy. With that said, let's get back to the officers at Montello Cowboy Bar, where a conversation with the locals was about to reveal how Dylan's encounter with Chase may have turned violent.
I'm the brightest dude named Dylan Rouse.
Oh, I know. We got locals out here at the country too. So then went out that way because he was out to loose end.
I was hearing Kurt say something about he had a conversation with that Chase kid.
Yeah, that's who I'm looking for. Where do we find
I'm
him?
kind of worried about it because if Dylan did walk back from where he left the grain truck and Chase got a hold of him at vulnerable, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Walking back, something bad could happen because there was a bad injury with a kid just out here that got his face smashed in by the butt of a gun. And the whole camper shell was all bashed in and stuff.
Where do we find Chase? Is he from here? Does he live here?
Yeah, he does. He doesn't. He's from around here. It's where he hangs out.
He was staying out here.
Where was he staying at?
Big thief in town, and so everybody was after him, and they finally told him to get the hell out of town and stay
The bar owner's recap only further implicated Chase Venstra, suggesting that a violent confrontation between Chase and Dylan was more likely than ever. But something else caught the officer's attention when one of the bar owners briefly mentioned another recent incident involving Chase. Sensing there might be more to this, the officer decided to pull her aside for a private conversation. At this point, police still consider Dylan's case a missing person, but what the bar owner detailed next would soon shift this case to
Everybody they mention his friend, they old.
Yeah.
Very weird, right?
Yeah, very.
So Kurt told me
Unless they don't got no young people in town.
Dylan was just driving down the road and Chase stopped it and said, hey, got some water. He's like, hey, do you know Kurt? And I guess they got an altercation about that because Chase was like, Kurt's an asshole, da da da. And Dylan was like, no, he's not. You know, he's a good guy. I work for, I do work for him, blah, blah, blah. There was an altercation. Then he went on his way. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken the conversation, that was the same day that he drove the grader, the grainer over to wherever and then whoever was there couldn't give him a ride back, so he possibly won. That's all I know about the conversation.
How does the kid getting hit with the butt of a gun, does that figure into this at all?
I think it does. I think there's some, because now we're talking violence. So kid let his property go. He stopped making payments on his property because he's so scared. But he woke up to the butt end of the gun into his face. They smashed his camper. I don't know, 30s. Has a family, has kids. He's out here, bought land out here, so I'm trying to homestead.
He's not out here.
No, we're on.
Imagine.
Nope, he left, the property was gone.
With this troubling insight, it became clear that Chase Venstra was fully capable of extreme violence. If he attacked someone else recently, he easily could have done the same to Dylan. But what no one had realized yet was that police were looking in the wrong direction the whole time, while someone far more dangerous and guilty was hiding right under their noses. The next day, while the search for Chase continued, Dylan's family reached out to police. They were conducting their own investigation and wanted to share new information they'd uncovered. Information suggesting Chase may not have acted alone.
So this is the family? Yes. Okay. So tell me again what you're having suspicion to believe right now.
So on 525 is when Dylan ran into Chase with the desert and called me right after. He had no shoes on. Dylan wouldn't let him take his phone and give him a ride, but he did allow him to call his dad on speakerphone in Utah.
Okay. Dylan allowed Chase.
Dylan allowed Chase to, and then he gave him some coke and then his dad called Dylan back and Dylan sent the pin from his phone to where Chase was.
Okay.
So then we fast forward to 528, which was Saturday. Dylan was heard from in the morning. He talked to his grandma, and he was going to take the grain truck to the shed to put it in shelter because it was raining.
Okay.
So at this point, we assumed he was walking back across the desert to his camper because he didn't have a ride.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it how it was
Loose in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So then 529, they continued to look for him. 530, we all got here to Dylan's last known location on Lucas and filed the police report, got search and rescue out. That's the night we found Dylan's boots about 400 yards from where his last known location was, tossed out behind a dirt pile, just out in the desert. And so then today we kept searching, and that's when these guys got us the information, about 3 o'clock today? We know that this Robert guy took Chase out to the desert where Dylan is the day Dylan went missing.
The man Dylan's mother mentioned would turn out to be Robert Aviles. He had an active arrest warrant and reportedly gave Chase Venstra a ride to Dylan's place on the day he disappeared. The family also suspected that Chase could be at Robert's house, so finding him became a priority in locating their prime suspect and hopefully Dylan himself. Officers quickly moved to track down Robert Aviles, and their first stop was Robert's residence, where they came into contact with his mother.
Singing in there.
I don't know who that would be.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I have no idea.
He's supposed to be hanging out with a guy named Chase and Robert.
Okay, I don't know. Chase might have an idea, but my son's been homesick, and he's been in bed all day, and he's been home all night. I don't know I'm just wondering,
So who's all in your house?
nobody,
Nobody's in there right now?
no. My son is in his trailer,
And where's that at?
in the backyard.
In the backyard?
Yeah.
Well, we're just trying to find
And no one came home with him.
Nobody came home with him?
No,
Okay. Is Chase here?
no. I don't let Chase on my property after I found him inside my home when I was at home.
We were told that there's possibly a missing kid.
Oh, being here? Yeah, no. You can feel free to look around if you
Situation, like he's not being.
No,
See, that's why we're here, ma'am. I'm not about a car.
look around if you want to. But there's
Is that
no
okay?
care about my son and he's sleeping.
After speaking with Robert's mother, officers conducted a thorough search of the property, but found no sign of Dylan or Chase. But they soon located Robert inside his trailer, and he was quickly arrested and transported to the police station for questioning. When detectives placed Robert in the interrogation room, they expected
They
resistance.
didn't tell me he was
and
sleeping now. They like, get up.
Robert did
Mm-hmm.
They like, nigga, get up.
Right. Wake up. Won't care if you sick.
Oh, man.
Won't care if you sick. Right. Get up.
When I came back, I asked Chase that. I was like, hey man, I heard you got arrested. He's like, nah, that's just all Montello gossip, blah, 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 right? So I'm kind of weary after giving him a ride. I tried to show one of my mom's friends, staying out there on the TV for a long time. He gave me his scenario. He thinks Chase did it too. Okay? Now, I don't know the time frames because I'm not good with time like I told you guys. I did the best I could by contacting the store lady and asking her what day I gave Chase a ride. No, because I didn't even know what day I gave Chase a ride. I didn't even know what day the kid came up missing. I didn't even know there was a kid missing until the Nevada police came knocking on our door wanting to search our residence. You know what I mean? And that's the truth.
Although Robert admitted giving Chase Venstra a ride, he couldn't provide any clear information on Chase's current whereabouts and maintained his innocence throughout the rest of his interview. However, Robert made one thing clear. He believed Chase was involved and might have even killed Dylan. The following night, something strange happened at Dylan's trailer in the Clemson Desert. It seemed someone had quietly returned and tampered with items inside. An officer was quickly sent out to photograph and document the scene, accompanied by Dylan's father, who'd share more details about the troubling discovery.
Okay, the shotgun is in a house in Rigby. Okay. That is my grandfather's.
This weather is out of line.
Mm-hmm.
Hot, cold.
Yep. Up, down,
I
up,
put up
down.
my summer clothes. Let's get up.
Okay.
I gotta go right back to the summer clothes and get them out.
Mm-hmm. Early too, huh? Cause usually we got until like March, end of March.
It's that flu weather. That's what it is.
Yep.
We looked in his camper,
Sure
all cupboards
is.
and stuff, looked in the bathroom, nothing. My mother came here, she was real bad.
Flu, pneumonia.
You name it.
Yep.
She used the bathroom. Dylan had flushed to go see him. It was really nasty. So my sister went in and cleaned it. Still no gun. Later, my son and JD came in and the gun was sitting on a sink. It's outside of the bathroom, but right by the bathroom door where the toilet and the shower is. It's the sink, but it's not in the bathroom. The gun was sitting right there with the clip outside of it. Okay. Sitting there. So my son and JD didn't think much of it. They grabbed the gun, put it in my truck. I didn't think much of it. Oh, they found the gun. I don't know. Then we started realizing that it wasn't there when my sister cleaned the bathroom for my mom to use and all that, and it was there.
This discovery was an alarming indication that someone was actively trying to cover up their involvement in Dylan's disappearance. But his father had one more thing to share. Something about an old confrontation with someone police hadn't yet fully considered in their investigation.
What was Chase's ties to out here? I don't know about Chase. Okay. Hardly any. But the whole town knows him. But that whole town, it's a crazy place. They're just all like, they're all nutty for one thing. The only people that I know that really were in contact with Dylan is like, here's the Chase guy, I didn't know it. But Don and Jim. Jim was the guy the place you guys live. Okay. Jim came out here and helped. Jim came to Rigby where I live. I live in Rigby in Idaho Falls area. Dylan bought like 800 pigs or something from the Midwest when the pandemic hit, whatever the corona. They brought them to my farm and I was pissed. And Jim was there and I called the leash and I told him to get the hell out of here. He called Bill and told me he's going to blow my head off. Bill called me, he got all mad. So when I found out he was going to blow my head off, I had to go see him. He's walking down the lane on the farm with a big old pistol, and my dad calmed him down and calmed me down. Then he came back this winter to my shop to work on that seed truck. Fine, everything was fine, and I realized he's still a friend. I'm not going to worry about this, you know what I mean? I got to bed ties with myself.
According to Dylan's father, there were no further escalations after his confrontation with Jim Brainer at the time. At this point, no one had any real reason to suspect Jim Brainer or Donald Haley. After all,
I see him. And where's the owner? I ain't see nobody else walk by, did you?
Was serious enough for the officer to take note of it. After leaving the scene, he passed this information to detectives, prompting a deeper look into Jim Brenner's past, and what detectives uncovered wasn't entirely unexpected. A criminal past including convictions for aggravated assaults and multiple weapons charges, as well as a pre-existing federal active warrant for being a restricted person in possession of a firearm. Brenner's violent history and his close proximity to Dylan's farm were enough for detectives to flag him as a person of interest, alongside their primary suspect, Chase Vinstra. The following day, officers moved quickly to serve Brenner's arrest warrant and bring him in for questioning. They soon spotted him casually heading back towards the grain shed with his close friend, Donald Haley.
What can I do for you guys?
Well, we just had a couple things we wanted to talk to you about. We're still trying to figure stuff out, you know, and just have you guys heard or seen anything these days? Anything new?
This trash over here. I know names, I know people, I know that nobody seems to want to listen to. They're the ones coming over stealing shit.
Are they?
Yeah. Chase Vestra and Robert Avilas are the ones that robbed Michael Moore up here. But everybody keeps saying that we need to talk to him. You need to bust check freaking rat's nest over there open, and people are going to start talking. That's the only way you're going to find out about Dylan. There's a warrant here arrest. I'll let you know about it now. From Maryland? Or so we're going to pick you up, take you to jail. Oh, God damn it. So what I want you to do, I know before you try to put your hands on your head for me. You know, off your fingers. Okay?
Jim pointing fingers at Robert and Chase was understandable, given witness statements and allegations. But Jim's own criminal past and proximity to Dylan made him equally suspicious. Detectives transported him to the police station, planning to use the unrelated warrant charges as an opportunity to question him further about Dylan. Though they didn't expect much new information from Jim, this routine questioning was about to lead to an unexpected breakthrough.
The warrant has been issued, and we're obligated by law to be found in I don't know if you realize it, but there's other bigger problems going on over there, and it's not here to talk to you about that warrant. You just got brought in on that warrant. Okay, we would like to talk to you about the other things that are going on. We would have to. I understand you're fine. I know better than you do. I work for them. That's why you're wondering if you are taking that, because I know you're not. Dylan used to go in the bar and brag about how much money he spent. Dylan never carried money on him, or everything with a credit card. But if he did have $1 in his wallet, he wouldn't give it up. And I think this is a strong arm robbery. Somebody thought they see this little 5'5" kid, and they think they figured, we're gonna get this guy, we're gonna rob this guy, we're gonna intimidate him. Dylan don't intimidate. It was a strong arm robbery. He didn't believe that Chase and Robert Avilas. If I did this, I'd be 1/600. Well, there's got to be somebody who's done 6,000. What about Don?
One of y'all.
I've known Don for over 2 years, and Don's gone out of his way to help Dylan just like I have.
As expected, Jim Brainer's statements remained mostly consistent, and he appeared genuinely convinced Chase Venstra and Robert Aviles had something to do with Dylan's disappearance. But Brainer had more details to share. Details about Dylan himself and the dangerous individuals he was attracting.
The other one, Robert Lee, just did 10 years in prison for strong arm robbery.
So these niggas just go move to that town.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody they name, strong arm, kid, you name it.
Yep.
Told you that.
Beat him up with a pistol weapon, robbed him, took his cell phone, and made it so the vehicle wouldn't run. He had to walk into town to call the police. There's a lot of shit going on in Montel. Is he the one that they talk about being pistol work with the battery gun? Is that the one? I didn't.
Brenner would go on to mention several other people, mostly convicted criminals from the area who could have had strong motives to rob or even kill Dylan. Clearly, he wasn't exactly narrowing things down for detectives, but at least he appeared fully cooperative. However, in just moments, Brenner would let something slip. Something that would unintentionally place him right at the center of the suspect pool.
Dylan, the shy kid. His world revolved around tractors, farming. I mean, he had a couple guns that his dad gave him, and he had a shotgun, and we found that's up in Rigby. But he always carried that in the back seat. And then the pistol they found that, and he was afraid to keep that loaded. He used to keep the gun in the console and keep a loaded magazine. And I told him, I said, you either need to learn how to use that thing or put it somewhere because that's going to get you killed. And we'll wait for that. I was telling the dad that too.
Needless to say, Jim's choice of words wasn't ideal, and this wasn't the first time his statements had raised eyebrows, as he previously made a similar remark when Dylan first went missing, speaking about him as if he was already dead. Although several days had passed and the possibility of foul play was growing, detectives still found his comments odd. But with the rest of Brenner's interview yielding nothing new, investigators booked him to jail on his unrelated firearm possession warrant, giving them time to further investigate any possible involvement. Shortly after Jim Brenner was taken into custody, officers finally located Chase Venstra and arrested him on his unrelated warrant out of Montana. Detectives wasted no time bringing him in for questioning, but in this first interview, Chase flatly denied any involvement, insisting locals were spreading false rumors to frame him. With no hard evidence, investigators booked him into jail, but with a strategy in mind. They placed him in a cell directly above Jim Brenner, quietly hoping they would interact, and at one point, one of them might talk or slip up. Pretty quickly, this tactic paid off when Chase reached out to detectives for another interview, claiming he knew exactly what happened to Dylan and could solve the entire case.
I need to talk to you. Karen called you.
She actually didn't call me, Ross called me. And said that you were looking to talk about, with him, talk about Brenner. Was it Brenner and just the case, basically, right?
They put me in there, I'm the cell above Brenner. I've talked to him, I've talked to other cellmates. I know I'm locked.
Okay.
I know I'm locked. I can put this thing to bed for you.
Well, I mean, honestly, to be straightforward with you, I can't do anything about the charges. Me, myself, right? They gotta be federal, right?
No, they're state.
Oh, so I didn't even know that there were any. So
I want them charges dropped. I'll solve this case for you.
So I'm not able to do it. So I just came to talk to you to see if you had something you wanted to tell me.
I've got everything to tell you, but when I'm out of these chains and in my clothes.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I can't make that kind of deal with you, so.
That's
it's fine if you don't want to.
That's what I want.
That's fine.
I just want to be like, but we got an ultrasound on my new baby tomorrow. I want to be there with her. This time.
Well, you're not.
I'm applying for a job with the state out there.
I don't get it.
I'm done with this thing. I've been dragged through the mud with this thing with Dylan. I know how it happened, where it happened, when. I know
what was used and where it's at. Okay? I put this whole thing to bed for you guys. Okay?
And
I hate to.
I wish you could, but there's not anything I can offer you.
Yeah, I hate to be that way with you, but I gotta look out for me.
Unfortunately for detectives, their strategy backfired. Now Chase wanted to bargain his freedom in exchange for information he claimed to have. But investigators had little reason to trust Chase, and without an agreement to drop his gun charges, the interview ended without providing any new leads. On June 28th, exactly a month since Dylan went missing, police were called out after a witness reported finding something suspicious in the desert. A burial site with clear signs of something dead inside.
Oh, there's milk with it. These wasn't here either. Oh.
Okay, go ahead and step away. Yeah.
He killed it. He killed it.
Yeah, so this is the only one that you found, huh?
Thank you.
It wasn't like this yesterday, though.
Okay.
He came and opened it. Yeah.
So how did it look like?
This was flat. So this was on top, and then there was another wood.
And so there is a braid, but there appears to be maybe 2 dogs, maybe 2 or 3 dogs.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, 2 or 3 dogs inside. It looks like it's been here for some time. But the person, the RP is telling me that it didn't look like this yesterday, that somebody had come over and opened it up for some reason. I do have some footprints around this too.
The burial site contained dead dogs buried beneath. Not exactly what police were expecting, though it meant there still might be hope for Dylan. Just as the investigation began to settle back into a frustrating standstill, police received a call from someone they knew well. Jim Brainer's close friend, Donald Haley. He'd been around since the early days of the search, helping the family and cooperating with officers, but now, weeks into the investigation, he wanted to speak with investigators, claiming he had important information to share, something he'd kept hidden ever since Dylan vanished. Detectives immediately arranged to meet with Donald, where they would finally uncover one of the first truly damning clues in the case.
Oh, I'll tell you something. Okay. I really don't think it has anything to do with anything. You guys found the ammunition and stuff with Giannis. Yeah. And he's a white-collar physicist, a kid. But he figured that would be a reason to either substitute or stay or whatever, so he brought his black-collar rifles over black-collar suit. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. What are those? I put one behind my bed. My bedroom, the other one's laid up in the corner next to Dave on the couch.
When do you bring her after Dylan?
Oh yeah, definitely after.
Why?
Safety. We went to, last time, they had him in Holcomb for over a year, and while he got out, everything he had was gone. Everything.
I can't ask you what's going through Jim's head at that time, but what's going through yours when he brings you his rifles and a 6-gun?
Honestly, it looked like he was scared that, he was going to be detained for 6 months or a year and lose everything he had. He said, no, but he had no idea what happened to his horses last time. Okay. All his gun, everything he owned disappeared.
So why do you think he's going to get detained, or why does he think he's going to get detained for 6 months?
Just because he's a felon and he could be held. So he knows he's a felon, he knows he shouldn't have them, and so he. Well, I
don't know. You know, according to him, a black powder primitive weapon is not considered a firearm. Now, if he brought me a firearm, I said no.
Okay. So sometime after, Dylan, you're how long after? I mean, it's only been 3 weeks now.
That seems like forever. I wish that kid had just got walking down the road starting to kick his butt.
I wish too. But the longer this goes, the less likely that looks.
Yeah.
Donald's admission couldn't have come at a worse time for Jim Brainer. Although Donald explained that Jim hid the guns at his place out of fear of losing them, the timing was deeply suspicious. And for detectives, this was enough to place Brainer at the center of suspicion alongside Chase Venstra. Following this discovery, the firearms were seized and Jim Brainer picked up an additional firearm possession charge, keeping him in jail as the investigation continued. But detectives still lacked concrete evidence against anyone, and crucial DNA results from the bloody boots found near the shed were yet to return. It seemed like the case might stall for a while. Over a year would pass, with detectives quietly making progress, including crucial DNA results, but still no sign of Dylan himself, and no one held responsible.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
until
you.
December 2023, when investigators got a call that would change everything.
Yeah, it's a new
Jim
style.
Brainer's cellmate, who'd spent months locked up alongside him, claimed to know exactly what had happened to Dylan. Detectives quickly arranged an interview, expecting another bargaining scenario similar to Chase Venstra's. But what the cellmate would reveal instead was a chilling murder confession.
How are you doing, sir? Good thing. So they had said that you wanted us to come back, that you had more information? Yeah. Or did you have information before that you just didn't give us all of it? No, I didn't really have a whole lot of information. Okay. I got plenty of information now. I got information that would probably help maybe keep him cut the deal that he wants to cut the deal with. On his right hand, nobody has noticed, he's got a bite mark. He's got a bite from Dylan rounds. 622 is what killed Dylan. 222? Yeah, the 22. Didn't tell you that? Yeah. The story tell you that? Like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Go through that. He said it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And he was in there taking shit, and he heard a diesel truck drive by the place he was staying. And when he got out there, he had his 45, a gun that he put in a fold-over holster. And Dylan had picked it up off the sawhorses that he'd thrown his stuff all around, moved it up so he could put the truck in the shed. Yeah. And Dylan was holding the 45, and he said he got really pissed off at him and started yelling at him and telling him, get the fuck out of there. And Dylan took the gun and fired it right beside his ear.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really good.
He said he grabbed his gun and fighting for it. He said they ended up on the ground. And Dylan ended up shooting himself in the leg with the 45. And then he said that while they were fighting, the gun got fired like 2 or 3 times. He said there's a bullet hole in the side of the building out there you can see. He said when you guys was out there talking to him and standing in the shed or something, standing out there, he said he was sitting there looking at it. And then he showed me a scar on his thumb too, where he had stuck his hand in the gun that was trying to keep Dylan from firing it again, but he was clicking, and his whole right hand was damaged at one time. Okay. But the bite mark is evident, very seeable, and the body is somewhere right there close by. He said he's seen tire marks over it where you guys have been driving. Somebody's been driving on it. Did you give me any indication of where? Yeah. There's a lot of country out there. Yeah, he says it's in the high desert. Did he say that it was close to where he killed him? Yeah, it's close. It's close somewhere there. Where he killed him? He gave like a 25-mile circumference. Yeah. Okay, so he heard Dylan drive by in his truck. Dylan had backed the truck into the grain shed.
No, he said the truck was still parked out.
So it wasn't back in yet?
Yeah, no, it wasn't back in. And that's when they had the fight. They had the fight and they were on there. He said that the round on the gun got turned. He said he heard it turn.
I guess it was a revolver?
Yeah, it was a revolver. He said he got it
straight. But you can curl it because it's human.
He got up, he took off out, and that's when he got to 22. And
this is her second install with this hair, so definitely reusable and still just as beautiful as it was the first time.
And then, from what you're saying, did he run back to the trailer and get down too?
He said it was behind the bags, some grain bags. He said he took 3 shots at him and they're all headshots. He said one of them grazed Dylan on the side of the face. And he pointed just like this, the side of the face, so to the Braids. You know, I couldn't tell you if it was right side or left side. He said 2 more shots and shot Dylan in the head.
And that killed him?
Yeah.
And then what did he do?
Then he said he burned all his clothes. He said after he took care of everything, he burned all the clothes.
The revelations from Brenner's cellmate were chilling, to say the least. According to him, the argument that ended Dylan's life stemmed from Brenner being irritated with Dylan for repeatedly using the shed he considered his own workspace. After killing Dylan, Brenner attempted to cover up his crime by loading Dylan's body onto a backhoe, burying him deep in a remote stretch of the desert nearby. He then concealed the guns at Donald Haley's place and discarded Dylan's phone in a nearby pond, unaware it had recorded a damning, irrefutable proof of his crime. In addition to this confession, detectives turned back to the bloody boot DNA evidence.
No, I didn't. The client took her own hair down.
Confirms the blood belonged to Dylan, but they also found touch DNA matching Jim Brenner on the boots. Using this evidence, investigators then secured a search warrant for Brenner's phone, and by analyzing its data, they confirmed his device had traveled toward a nearby pond.
And the pieces came out very easily.
After searching the pond, they retrieved Dylan's phone.
She was able to save everything. So good. I took mine down to my last ones. I had them in for 2 months, and mine was easy to take down also, and I was able to save all my hair, and I just reinstalled it.
Despite the overwhelming evidence, Brenner still sought to negotiate. Prosecutors were preparing for an aggravated murder trial, but still lacked Dylan's body, so Brenner offered prosecutors a deal. He would reveal the location of Dylan's body in exchange for reduced charges. In spring of 2024, Brenner guided law enforcement to Dylan's remains in the Wilson Desert. The burial site was several miles from the grain shed property, and it was so well hidden that investigators had driven over the spot during earlier searches without noticing it. Inside the grave, they located Dylan's skeletal remains. Only bones and fragments of his clothing survived. On May 15th, that same year, Brenner pled guilty to second-degree murder and 2 counts of firearm possession in exchange for dropping charges of desecrating remains and an unrelated aggravated assault case. On July 1st, Brenner was sentenced to 1 to 15 years for second-degree murder and 2 additional 1 to 15-year sentences for the firearms.
What do you mean 1 to 15? What they mean 1 to 15? You mean just should be 15?
Hey everybody, just figured I'd send a quick check.
This is Paul Ferguson. Tragically, his brother Timothy passed away just prior to this live stream.
For those of you who aren't aware, my little brother has passed away, and it's a lot to deal with, but we're fine.
With such devastating news, viewers quickly showed his support.
Yeah, mine took like
Unbeknownst to Paul's fans,
3 hours to take out.
live stream ever. Because as it turns
Yolanda, how long did it take for you to take down your hair? How long did it take you to take out your hair from last time?
Take down my hair?
Uh-huh.
It really didn't take long.
Yeah.
It was easy to take down.
Yeah, mine was too.
Yeah,
Mine took me about 4 hours. Mine took like 4 hours. Mine took like 4 hours. How long yours took?
Really?
Yeah, yours was faster than that.
I took it down and then, I had to stop to do other stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't take long, that I ain't even gonna lie, it did not take long.
Okay.
I was because I was doing this and doing that, and then my head is like a universe style. I think, and it was easy too. It wasn't struggle, but I was worried about the glue. You know, you got the glue, but you got to kind of come it out. The glue came out like it was nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't no problem with the glue either. I was like, this is easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the tougher when you have it in longer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
For 2 months or whatever, well, my head was up, but it came out with no
Most
problem.
concerning
Yeah.
was where they actually found Timothy. He was lying in a small closet that reeked of urine and feces. Inside was a blue tarp and an Amazon box. And just outside were a pair of ankle shackles. There were also multiple cameras around the room and an alarm on the door he was found in. Undoubtedly, something was incredibly wrong, but police hadn't even scratched the surface of just how horrible this case would turn out to be. So, to maybe shed a little light on what just happened here, Officer Sean Stepanich decides to talk to his seemingly grieving mother, Shonda.
No, ma'am. I'm Officer Stepanich. Right now, we got some people coming over to talk to you, okay?
He's been wearing really loose clothes the last couple weeks.
He's really skinny.
He's really skinny, and I didn't notice till this morning because he wouldn't, like, I asked him if he's okay, and he would not answer me. Like, he's 15, he's been...
He has autism?
Yeah.
Like a high functioning?
Yeah. I had no clue about that, but... Oh my god. He did this back in... my husband's stroke was January 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So he did this back in, I don't know, second week of January for almost 3 weeks. And then he ate something last night. I can't remember what it was now, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This is where police realized that Shonda's emotions might all be an act. And as they would uncover more evidence in the house and talk to her son Paul, these claims would slowly fall apart. So as the officer listens to her side of the story, he'll be looking for anything to latch onto that they can use against them later to determine the truth.
I had no idea. I would have taken him in or something.
Now, you said the last time you saw him was 5:30 this morning? Did he say anything?
He had fallen out of bed.
At 5:30?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't earlier?
I mean, it's possible. I thought it was 5:30, but I wasn't super awake. I heard him thump, and I came down, and he's kind of laying on his side, kind of like, what the heck? And I picked, reached out, and I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Oh my god.
Timothy was pronounced dead at 6:44 a.m. that morning, just an hour after Shonda claims she last talked to him. The reason the officer seemed suspicious is because the first responders noticed that rigor mortis had already started setting in, tightening his
So he's
facial
been dead a
muscles.
while.
This usually starts anywhere from 2 to 4 hours after death, not the barely 1 hour that Shonda is claiming here. But the real question is how Shonda never noticed just how skinny and emaciated Timothy really was. This
Right.
is
You
where
having
the
them with
officer
baths and all that, how you gonna know
overnight.
that?
So the
Right,
officer asked her to
exactly.
explain herself.
For your son.
Because his face started looking a little bit. I'm like, okay, enough. And he wouldn't show. I'm like, let me see. Hold your shirt up. And he wouldn't hold his shirt up.
No, he ain't even got to hold the shirt up for you to see.
Yes. The only reason I know is because my 7-year-old walked in on him accidentally when he was in the shower downstairs. And then my 7-year-old comes up and he's like, Mama, Timothy's really skinny. I was like,
Was that this time or last
that
time?
was last. And I told him he was either going to start eating multiple times a day or I was taking him to the hospital and he didn't want to go to the hospital. So he was,
So he ended up eating on his own.
yes.
And then, so this last time, was it because your husband wasn't home?
But he hasn't been home since January 3rd. He actually mentioned he was hungry the day his dad and stepmom called to tell us they were divorced and moving to Florida last week.
Shonda is essentially saying that Timothy wasn't eating because of a, quote, hunger strike, campaigning against family problems. Back in January, Adam Vander Ark, Shonda's husband, had a stroke and had to move out due to issues accessing their home. Apparently, this caused Timothy to stop eating for 3 weeks, and he only started again after threats of being taken to the hospital. But for the last 2 weeks, he'd stopped eating again, allegedly this time due to his biological father divorcing his wife and moving away to Florida. Each of these events did indeed happen, but as it would turn out, they had nothing to do with Timothy's hunger at all.
Yeah.
The last year I was
Malnourished.
anywhere near him, he didn't want a kiss, a hug, nothing.
When was the last time you ate, you think?
Last night, he ate. Oh my God, I should have made him eat.
That boy been dead.
I feel like such a failure. You see there's food in the house. That's something. Did they really hide that from you like that?
It would turn out Timothy wasn't hiding anything from her, but police had to get to the bottom of what exactly she knew. So after this initial questioning phase ended, police handed over the case to detectives, who obtained a search warrant and began to collect evidence throughout the house. That's when they found leg shackles in a drawer, 4 webcams scattered strategically placed around a basement, zip ties in the bathroom, a half-empty bottle of extreme red Carolina Reaper hot sauce,
Oh,
and
no.
on every single fridge, freezer, and
Wow.
pantry in the house. This painted picture of a helpless boy forced to live inhumanely among his own dirt and filth, watched every second of the day, and brutally tortured until the very end. The next day, an autopsy was conducted on Timothy's body, finding even more strange and worrying things. He had extremely sunken eyes, slightly blue-tinted skin, and there were many signs of dehydration as well. His cause of death was determined to be dehydration and extreme emaciation due to starvation, with hypothermia playing a role too. With all of this information and evidence gathered, the police knew something foul had to be at play. They just weren't sure what. Starvation in a house filled with food, hypothermia in the middle of an American summer, alongside hot sauce and handcuffs. It had to all come together somehow. So the day after Timothy's death at 3:57 p.m., they bring in Paul, Shonda's 20-year-old son, for interrogation to try and uncover what all this could possibly mean and how exactly he was involved. What Paul doesn't know is that they've already collected a mountain of evidence. Detective Ryan Peask is going to use a 5-step program to slowly extract the truth from Paul, starting by getting on his good side and ending by tearing into him and making him feel so guilty he'll have no choice but to confess to everything.
I don't want to talk anything specific about the case just yet. I've sent you to the police show at your house. Yeah, they brought you down here. I want to drive some rights before we talk about that sort of thing. Whatever you want you to do, don't understand. Go to your phones, okay? There's a lot of evidence in the phones, and I know that you're kind of aware of the communication between yourself and your mother. Yeah, and those sort of things. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. Yeah. But, I mean, certainly, those are very serious things that you guys are talking about.
As mentioned, police have spent the last 24 hours combing over text messages, camera recordings, crime scene images, and much more to try and get a good picture of what had happened. So, as the case is with many younger suspects, Detective Peask will start calmly, trying to put Paul at ease and get on his good side, before slowly breaking him down and exposing the truth.
I know that we talked yesterday, and I know that not everything that we talked about was the truth yesterday. That's okay. You don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel guilty about not telling the truth to me. I'm not trying to get to the truth, so I won't really act like it, brother. Just you deserve that. I mean, there's clearly a lot of messages about stuff that you guys are doing, thing about ways of eating, about restricting food. How does that all work? We stopped the food restrictions recently because we had noticed this thing. We wanted to get that back on. We didn't want any of this. We never wanted him to be injured or hurt. I love him so much. Yeah, I can tell that. I can certainly tell that. And we wanted this best. Yeah. The thing is, he's stuck in the past. So when you stop the food restriction, only that and that. 2 weeks of food, we were hoping we could get enough where it would be safe and that we could continue to add it back to where
That's more than 2 weeks.
the restrictions. We made
Yep.
sure that it was still something that gave enough calories and everything a week. It was rice or bread, and like I said last week, he got pizza.
Throughout the thousands of texts detectives have between Paul and Shonda, there's a huge amount of talk about food restrictions. It doesn't take much to realize that this was why Timothy was as thin as he was. Peask will focus more on this later. What's more interesting, though, is how Paul justified this.
Look, we wanted this test. we made sure that it was still something to give him enough calories and everything.
These aren't Paul's own thoughts. This is just what he's been told by his mother since the started. Over the course of several months, he's internalized it, and now seems to fully believe that what he's been doing to Timothy is for his own good.
What was making this for in the first place? Sneaking food over and over. We tried everything. We were nice. We tried different consequences, but I couldn't never listen. What was some of the other things we talked about? We didn't take away his devices. That was also because he wouldn't stay on his school sites and would just go and try and play games or watch YouTube. He should have been held back so much. Yeah. But he passed all of his final exams. And so I don't think it was my stepmother. My stepmother was amazing. Yeah. But I believe it was my phone too. Okay. But my dad's controller's freaking teachers. He didn't want her having any contact and just going all of his control of it.
Note how the only consequence that Paul mentions here is the fact that they take away his phone occasionally. Something fairly innocuous.
I was like him and his mom in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In exactly the same way his mother was known to do. But as Paul continues talking, it becomes clear exactly how much of a problem this has actually become, and that he might have actually been strongly manipulated by her to do all of this.
I was sitting back in a room where I had problems with emotional release. I was so terrified of him that I didn't ever want to release any of the negative emotions I ever had. And there were times where I wanted to say no, but I was so terrified that I just couldn't. Here, I can release my anger, and I do it in the right ways. I never do it any way that I'm not supposed to. She had her tubes undone for Gabriel. He was in the last end of this world.
Before having her third son, Gabriel, Shonda had a procedure to restore her fertility. To her, having Gabriel was a miracle because she didn't know if this would work. That's likely why no evidence was ever found of her harming Gabriel, because he was by far and away her favorite child. That does, however, provide a harrowing reason for why she might have abused Timothy so much. He was her problem child, and she didn't like the fact he had so many mental health conditions, so she wanted to take her anger out on and deal with the problem directly.
There were times when I would drop an attitude that was unnecessary, and she would have me get off devices for maybe 15 minutes, because usually that was what it was revolved around, because I'll be honest, I have an addiction to my devices. Okay. I'm not very much of that back home. Yeah. My dad was strict. He didn't even give me a phone. My sister and my stepsister had phones before I did. So now you're in work. And you're making a straight about all your paying bills. Yeah, and my father, she doesn't just force me to give her half of my paycheck. He forces that on me. And I was working basically minimum wage. That both. The thing is that my mother can't even face my father right now. She doesn't want to call him, because the one thing that she and I both know is that he's going to hurl every ounce of blame he can at her.
Listen to how he's talking about his father. He's only able to say negative things about him, and brings these points up even while unprompted. He clearly has a strong dislike of his father, and talks about him like a divorced partner. Take a guess where that stemmed from. It's clear his mother has been feeding him lies and negativity about his father, and there's no clearer example of this than what he says next.
I'm here into Michigan, I think, on the 30th. Okay. Because for the time after I moved out of my parents' house, I stayed with my uncle Dave now, and who both had actually been tricked by my father to also believe my mother was bad.
Nobody was tricked. Shonda simply was a bad person. The police report contains countless witness testimonies from family, friends, and teachers who knew something was wrong and believed Shonda to be a bad parent. This wasn't an uncommon opinion. One of Timothy's teachers even told the cops that all the teachers knew he wasn't cared for at home, and that he lived through hell most of his life. But to save face, Shonda would make up lies to tell Paul that made her seem perfect and kept his respect, at the cost of making his father seem downright evil. That's what makes this case so controversial. Paul was almost certainly not in control for the majority of this, and he was definitely manipulated by his mother to some extent, but he still went through with everything, and that's what a jury would end up focusing on.
I saw on your phone you had sent a couple of pictures to your mom. Yeah, pretty skinny. You said, you know, like he's nothing but skin. Yeah, I was very concerned. It just, you know, do you think that maybe would have been the time to take me to that too? Yeah, honestly, that probably would have been one too. And he's kind of sure about his legs, so just basically on, right? And so, yeah, I don't understand. Something along the lines. Yeah, but the thing is, yesterday, and I think the day before, he could walk. He might need a little support every so often, like he put his knee against the wall or grab the rail of the stairs. But after I think he let go would be fine. Okay. It was never anything major. When was like the last time I was really like talking to you, like able to have a conversation, or at least try to have a conversation? Last time he actually talked was 3 days ago, but the day before, or the day after that, the day before yesterday. He talked a small amount in the morning, but then he just sort of making groans and moans.
It must take an astonishing amount of delusion to believe that not being able to walk or speak isn't anything major. But in reality, that's not what they thought. They thought he was faking it entirely. In fact, on the day before Timothy died, Shada told Paul to wave warm pizza rolls just in front of him and take them back if he tries to eat them.
Wow.
It just seems as though they were messing with him to satisfy their own sadistic desires.
Face, like smooth it up, face. He's been taking the bath, and I went in there to check on his one knee, just come away in there. I'm like, bud, you okay? He didn't respond, but he was looking around, so, and he was breathing, I know that much. Yeah. But he wasn't talking at that time. You know, and it started to move through me. I'm not sure if it touched him on my back or not. Well, you see the picture to it. Yeah, I probably should have said something about the ER at that one time. Well, I'm sure he was not stupid. You have to think about it like this, right? She's grown up, and if she sees that, it's not all on you, right? You made, from what I see, you made numerous attempts to say, we need to do something different about this. Yeah. You can't keep doing this. I know she's a good person, but just...
Paul is beating himself up because he knows that he assisted in all of this. But notice how Peace is still trying to reassure Paul and shift the blame away from him. Fortunately, this is about to pay off massively as he starts to talk more about the punishments that Timothy was put through.
I think you have to think about this. Right now is our time about blaming people, but it's the time to try to figure out what communications can be locally done differently. How do we get to the point where we're at? Because, you know, clearly where you guys got to, when you say you do that, that wasn't a nice thing to go back, but right there was a punishment back. Right? That's a cool bath. I just didn't watch that. So how many times would you ask me, did you guys get cold baths as a punishment for not getting or whatever, for whatever reason? I think for punishment, I don't exactly know the number, but it wasn't a lot. Are we talking like 5, 10, 20, every day, every other day? I mean, any idea of 5? Whose idea was getting cold baths?
Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and put a fire emoji in the comments if you really like this style.
Peace actually knows exactly how often these baths occurred, because Paul and Shada documented every single instance of this over text, and Timothy was subjected to them constantly. Even worse, they would last up to 9 hours at a time. And remember, Timothy weighed only 69 pounds. He barely had a drop of body fat on him, meaning that he would have felt the effects of the cold considerably more than the average person. This is why the autopsy turned up the evidence of hypothermia and ruled it as one of his main causes of death.
No, I don't. Surprisingly. Thank God for that.
Not only peed, but also pooped. And I wasn't too happy with this. It absolutely reeked. Yeah. When we talk about that, mother's going into the house and get his little messages. Yeah. Where did you sleep most of the nights in that closet?
As Peace mentions, Timothy didn't sleep in a bed. He slept in a small, cramped closet that he couldn't even stand up in. And the punishment that Paul mentioned, well, that would have actually happened either way. Inside the basement where Timothy slept were multiple cameras and an alarm on the door. If he'd have gone to the bathroom instead, then he would have been punished for leaving his room. Timothy was completely trapped.
We always wanted what's best. So you guys decided to move into the closet. There's an alarm on the door. Is that what's that for? When you were trying to sneak, because if you notice, there was also one in the garage door. That was also because, yeah, there's some food in there that he was trying to sneak. And it wasn't just that he was hungry at some points for those. It was that he wanted something sweet.
Clearly, he was hungry.
And agreeing directly with what is said, trying to make him feel like what he's saying is still fine, so he incriminates himself.
Oh yes, you see it.
How long was he eating just bread? A week or two? What was he having before that? We do ramen, sandwiches, and I think at some points we actually give him like a meal. What was the reason that meals? The whole freaking...
Paul has no idea what to say. He's starting to realize just how cruel everything he did was, and the gravity of the situation has just hit him. He starved his little brother to death, and he can't even think of a reason why. Regardless of the circumstances or how much influence his mother had over him, he still did all of these horrifying things. And there's still even more to come.
You know the hot sauce. I know that was used as both a punishment and with bread. Was it always on bread? Not always, no. But the thing is, it still hardly did anything for him. There would be times where it would do something for me because I accidentally got behind you on there. It was how. What dictates whether or not there's hot? What decides that? Whenever my mother told me to put hot sauce on it, I did. I'm like, no, there's a California Reaper. 2,000 school or 2 million school. What does that mean? It's the hot sauce for the hot.
Wow.
That's pretty hot. Very.
Just extreme regret hot sauce is reviewed as not being something you mess around with. It measures out to 800,000 Scoville heat units. Just
Wow.
shy of what a fresh ghost pepper would be. Paul and Shonda would routinely feed this to Timothy as a punishment, as well as putting it on the only real food he would get in a day. He's also made sure to ask Paul what Scoville units were to make sure he knew exactly how bad what he was doing was. He confirmed that this was very, very hot, to the point of being painful. Yet, he still went through with what he did for weeks.
So, how long you guys using hot sauce for? Almost a month, maybe. Okay.
You hear that? So he lied? Oh,
Yeah.
2 weeks they starved.
Wow. Wow. Crazy.
I know it was punishment, but honestly, I don't think it was that useful because, like I said, he had no feelings. He totally got a hold of it at one point, didn't even feel it. Was he eating the bread? Is that really the only things he had to eat those days, or were the other things to eat? From the bread and rice, those are not that I know of. Did you see it dividing during that 4 weeks? Was it eating more weight or being less responsive, or what changed when you moved into doing that? There would be times where it would take him a moment to respond. At first, I thought it was just him acting, but then I was getting concerned. I think a week or so, maybe more. Officer delays. Yeah.
Wow.
Put hot sauce on bread. If you ever put hot sauce on those your own decision to put hot sauce on bread.
Throughout this interrogation, Paul has been consistently using his mother as a scapegoat for everything he's done, that he was just following her orders. But at the same time, it's obvious that he knows his brother was suffering through all of this. Many people are familiar with the Stanford prison experiment. 24 male college students were split into either guards and prisoners, and for 2 weeks, they were supposed to simulate a prison. However, after just 6 days, the experiment had to be terminated due to extreme behavior. The guards guards quickly adapted to their position of power, and due to their role being enforced and validated by the event conductors, they began to abuse the prisoners to the point of emotional distress. That is to say, Paul was given the opportunity to be in control, and he took full advantage of it, abusing his position. At the same time, though, Paul is an adult, and at any point, he could have decided to stop or alert somebody about all of this, but he never did. Pisk is also starting to realize this, so from here on out, he's going to slowly put on the pressure that'll eventually break Paul and make him fully realize the gravity of what he's done.
So, I know that when we talked yesterday, in front of your mom, you know, she was lying about some stuff, right? I know that she's a good person, I'm not doubting that at all. And you have any of this, but you also know this, like I know, that some of the things that she was talking was about the truth, right? About, she said she didn't know there was anything like that. But the fact of the matter, she asked you, when she sent you a text message, she said, look, make sure the camera's in there and take the shower curtain down so I can see them. Didn't she ask you that the day before he passed away?
Just the fact that she had him doing it. And
She said,
she didn't do nothing. I was like it's gonna fall on him because he's doing it to put the camera on. I was like, she ain't don't even get the high.
Yeah. Yep.
That don't make sense.
No.
but it's not that I'm afraid of her. I can't fear her because she's not attitude still here. I don't know if that's also what causes me to sometimes lie about things as well. Was that he still had this fear of God and he thought she would be the same. She's nothing like him. How much I know, she said. Well, she knows that you shouldn't be using hot sauce as a bunch. Right? She knows better than that.
The pressure is already starting to cause Paul to resort to cathartic statements for him. Notice how as soon as Pisk says she was lying, he praises her and makes excuses for her, and then immediately puts his dad down, saying that she's nothing like him. He's scared, and he's trying to throw himself back into a world where he feels safe and comfortable. But that's not the world he lives in, and Pisk is about to expose that once and for all.
So when you first talked to us, and we talked to the police, you said he was on his bunk bed, right? But that's not the truth. No. Okay. He was in that closet that's right there by the bunk bed? Yeah. You told us that you heard the story. Was that a lie? Yeah. Did you come up with that on your own, or did somebody ask you to say that you did that? I feel so guilty, like I could have done something at any point in this. You think that emotion is the most best for you, right? That's because you got me still. And she wants what's best for all of us. So, that's my question. Did somebody ask you to say that you didn't want that? I came up with that on my own.
Pisk notices him start to shut down under the pressure, so eases off just a little, trying to reassure him again that he's not in any trouble and that this isn't his fault. Pisk is almost there. He just needs to get a little more information out of him for the confession, and can't risk Paul shutting down now.
So tell me what really happened in the morning, because honestly, what was told to us was the truth. What really happened? I woke up and I had to grab in my shoes. It basically all played out like we said. The whole morning thing was exact. He wasn't really in the closet. It was
Oh.
we had to get him out of the closet.
Okay.
Trying to sustain. You guys come out of the closet. See, what that one was he in diaper or was that?
Okay.
He had a shirt. I think we had put him,
Smells good.
maybe some point in the night he took them off. No, but usually he had hair or no, we put him. So he said, I'm like, yeah. So if you go over there and I want to say, but if he didn't have the one makeup around, he had the diaper on. So he has a diaper on. You're saying he has a shirt on. What shirt did he have on? It's the very same sweatshirt that we found him. Because obviously we didn't want him to get cold. Or I don't really want him to get cold. Does he have pants on or no? No, he get there.
She don't want to get cold. You rather starve him, but she don't want him to get cold. Goodbye.
Right.
Pisk is asking some very specific questions about when Timothy was found. What Paul doesn't know is that the cops have an audio recording from one of their cameras from the exact moment they found Timothy dead.
Oh, wow.
He knows for certain that both Paul and Shonda have been lying this whole time and tried to cover the death up. This is Peace's chance to strike. He's now multiple steps ahead.
I said, that's
and
crazy.
Paul on the back foot. He's now going to start tearing into Paul and his mother, ripping his worldview to shreds and exposing them for what they really are.
At that time, she decides that she's gonna lie to him. So I don't understand. I don't know. Because she doesn't want to seem like she's bad. We weren't neglecting him. What were you saying that we talked about? There's all these things that like, she didn't want to seem like this. She didn't want to seem like this. She didn't want to seem like this. Did you know that it all seems like that, right? Yes. How do you feel about lying during this? How does that make you feel? I just hate it. I know she doesn't want to be a bad guy. She never wanted this. We love him so much. I don't think it's about love at this point. I think it's about not knowing what to do, not knowing how to handle the situation. You didn't know how to do anything.
Just look at how uncomfortable Paul is now. He can't sit still. He's covering his face and body as often as he can, and he's almost always hunched over. He's really starting to panic now, and Peace has barely even started ripping into him.
Tell him the same. Everything went better. How does that happen? You couldn't have talked to me about this story. Now, so what happened? She told me that. She told me what to say. Is it a little bad for you? It's not just that. We loved him. Can I ask you this? Like straight up. You keep saying love. Do you feel like this was love? That he's dead rather than eat food? Does that feel like love to you? He's angry to eat. And I don't know anybody that thinks that's love. What I think's happening is your mom convinced you that she's this perfect person, and she's asking you to do all these things that are literally killing you. She's not perfect. How is love ice baths? How is love handcuffing? And how is love restricting movement? And how is love hot sauce in the mouth and only eating bread? What if you only have to eat bread? How would you feel? What if you only have to eat bread with hot sauce? Would you eat it? She's not perfect, but she's not a bad person. You know how many people child to death. Tell me how many, that's a child who has a lot of problems, right? That's not a child that's taking care of themselves. How is that a loving person? How is that a loving mother? You know what that sounds like to me? And honestly, the worst mother I've ever met in my entire life.
Right.
Maybe he's taking food because he wants to live. You ever thought about that? Yes. Maybe food so that he can survive.
Paul has fully collapsed in on himself at this point. His worldview is starting to break into pieces. The person he looked up to, respected, and loved is now being painted as a monster that's going to prison for the rest of her life. The worst part? He hasn't even realized that he might be facing the exact same consequences.
Some of the stuff you're happy at. And it actually looks like in some of these things, you kind of enjoy it. You kind of enjoy punishment for doing wrong things. Do you feel like you kind of enjoy punishment for this? Maybe not that it was in pain, but you were in charge and you got to tell them, you can't do that. Don't do this. This is your punishment. Did you like some of that? No. How come you guys are laughing and joking about it sometimes? With smiley faces. There's no way that you can look at yourself and think, that's okay. Why couldn't you eat a piece of chicken that's cooked? Why couldn't you eat that? Why does it have to be bread with hot sauce? I think that way more of it has to do with your mom than you.
This is actually the defense that Paul would use in court, and the trial would turn out to be even more interesting than the interrogation. He would try to claim that he wasn't the one in control at all. He was just following his mother's orders, doing what she was telling him. But unfortunately for him, there were messages like these, along with much more evidence yet to be discovered, that made it hard to believe that this was the truth.
I don't want to live a life where I regret. I hid somehow, something. I told you everything I know. How do you feel about living a life where you hid that your brother wasn't eating from society, that you hid that your brother was dying? How do you feel about that? I hate myself. Ice bath, ice bath, I'm waiting to die, right? Did that do it? And she wanted him to sleep in the tub, that's right, right? Did that happen? Did he sleep in the tub? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That bathtub, when you guys dragged him into that closet and waited for the morning to problems. That's not what happened. No, do you think that message is just a little bit suspicious? That she sent you at just about midnight that says, he's in the closet, I had dragged him in there. You don't think he was already dying or dead at that point? Doesn't it seem like maybe he was already dead? That she put him in there so that he could wake up and die in his sleep? But she can't call the police when he's in an ice bath. And he freezes and he dies.
Whether this was true or not will remain a mystery for a while, but whatever the case, there was certainly a large attempted cover-up by both Shonda and Paul to try and make it seem like this was somehow, someway, natural causes. Timothy was treated like dirt until the very end, and Detective Pisk has had enough.
But how do you feel over and over when defending your mother about how good she is? Do you feel like that's the truth anymore? Because I'm quite disgusted by her. I'm disgusted by her. She never wanted this. How smart is your mom? She's incredibly intelligent. You have her cool outing, right? I never thought.
Right, exactly. If that's the case. And then manipulated him so bad.
Exactly. He can't see
He can't see that she is a horrible person. He's still blaming Dad. Dad ain't even there.
It's very obvious to you. If your mom is not seeing that, and she's a law school graduate, and she's very smart, do you see what I'm looking at here? She's a liar. What did she think was going to happen? I don't know. Exactly what happened is what she thought was going to happen. She never wanted him dead. She loved him. That's love to you? Everything that we talked about is love. You're joking, right?
Even through the shouts of an enraged Detective Pisk, Paul still defends his mother to the very end, trying to come up with excuses for her and even take the blame. But that would all come to an end on trial. In the meantime, though, just 5 days after his interrogation, Paul decided to go live on Facebook to update his friends and family on everything that had happened. Given what we know now, the surviving video is probably one of the most eerie pieces of footage we've ever shown on this channel.
Hey everybody, I just figured I'd send a quick check. We're doing good right now. We just dozed off on the couch unintentionally. For those of you who aren't aware, my little brother has passed away, and it's a lot to deal with, but just keep supporting.
Be his mother that faced the majority of the heat for Timothy's murder, so Paul decided that he would testify against his mother in an attempt to get a lighter sentence for himself. And during the course of this trial, we get even more information about other punishments and torture that Timothy was put through.
Were there any restrictions on his movement inside the closet, or was it he could move around however he wanted inside the closet?
There were restrictions.
What were the restrictions on his movement?
Hands on his head, normally.
Hands on his head, is that what you did?
Yes.
Is that some form of discipline for him?
Yes. On his knees and against the corner of the wall.
When we say hands on head, I'm going to demonstrate just putting my hands just over my head like this. Is that what he was required to do?
Yes.
He was required to be on his knees as well?
Yes, sir.
Was he monitored to make sure that he was doing those things?
Yes, sir.
For how long would he have to do these things?
Several hours.
Timothy's man with essentially zero muscle on his frame was forced to sit in a dark closet with his hands on his head for hours at a time. Most people's arms would start to ache after just 5 minutes, but on top of watching him as he was like this, listen to how they made sure that he never slipped up.
Did you utilize some type of alarm or alarms on his body to alert you if he was moving?
A vibration detector, yes.
Was it moving required to wear at times?
At times, yes.
Where were those devices located on his body?
They were normally tied to the back loop of his belt.
Was there something placed on his wrist as well at that time?
Handcuffs.
Wow.
Before that is zip ties.
Zip ties? Wow.
Movement.
Of course, if he was to move or set those alarms off, he'd be punished again, likely with hot sauce or another ice bath. Trials like this always give a horrifying amount of insight into cases like this. As Paul was made to testify against his mother, he consistently spilled more and more details about exactly how he and his mother ended up killing Timothy, such as some of the ways they made sure he was never able to eat.
There were some text messages. Do you recall a text message you exchanged with your mother in, whether it's around April or so, where you alerted her to the fact that he's eating some type of burger?
Yes.
What was it? What part of the burger is it that he ate?
It's the crust.
What was your mother's response when you told her that he had eaten the crust of that burger?
Make him throw it up.
Did you try to do that?
I tried at first, yes.
How did you try to do that?
Putting a finger into his mouth as instructed to the back of his throat to induce vomiting.
So who gave you the instruction to put your finger in the back of his throat?
That's the mama.
Was there ever any other time where she instructed you?
The mama. She
Yes.
looked
At one point she had me heat up
crazy,
the heat
too.
to see if he would be responsive to enticement.
Did you actually do that?
Yes, I held it close, and when he responded, as per instruction, I was to pull it away from him.
So we didn't get to eat pizza at all?
Paul is making an extreme effort to consistently say he was instructed to do everything. He's trying to throw as much blame off himself as possible, almost to the point where he's painting himself as a robot that simply followed what Shonda told him to do. The thing is, in a second interview conducted a week after the first, Paul was a lot more transparent. He admitted that he liked the praise from Shonda, that he liked having power and control over Timothy, that he felt good while doing it, and that he did everything willingly. Lastly, he said he felt that he was as much a murderer as his mother. All of that made it incredibly difficult to believe Paul when he stated that everything was just done as per his mother's orders. At the end of the day, Paul's motives and precise involvement in Timothy's death will never be known. He did contribute to his. In fact, he carried out and enforced the majority of punishments that caused his death. But whether he actually wanted to do any of this is a different story. The general consensus is that he was manipulated by his mother. She made him feel that what he was doing was the right thing, and it was all just to help him. That explains why Paul was parroting so many strange statements, held such hatred for his father, and started all of this. A jury would conclude that over time, it seems as though he grew to enjoy what he did and abuse his power, just as the guards did in the Stanford prison experiment. And that's the perspective a jury ended up taking. Before his sentencing, Paul was evaluated by multiple doctors and experts in different fields and was found not to have any intellectual issues nor mental disorders. Paul was of sound mind, and it was determined he had mental and physical control over everything he did. So with that in mind, it was time for his sentencing, but not before the judge was given the opportunity to finally speak his mind and tell Paul exactly how he feels about him.
Mr. Ferguson is trying to shift blame from him to his mother, to say that somehow she's the one that did this. This has been a careful, manipulated story from Mr. Ferguson from the very beginning of this thing, that he's going to put the blame on his mom. In my opinion, Paul Ferguson was predisposed to abuse his brother independent of his mother's present and active influence in his life. I think he's one step away from becoming a psychopath like his mother. And according to his son, he represents a danger to
one step.
Mr. Ferguson, I think you are a product of your environment, but I don't believe you that you're sorry. I don't think you have empathy. I don't think you have any emotion whatsoever, and that's what scares the court. Believe me, I tried to sit here and try to think, well, maybe Mr. Ferguson's not as bad as Mom. I think you're just as bad, if not worse.
Shonda Vander Ark was charged with first-degree murder and first-degree child abuse, and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 50 years for the child abuse charge. Her son, Paul Ferguson, was charged with first-degree child abuse, resulting in the death of his younger brother, Timothy Ferguson. This was his sentence and his reaction.
You intentionally and systematically tortured the child. Based on all that, the sentence of the court, you served 30 years to 100 years in the Department of Corrections.
What you thought?
He thought getting on that stand was gonna help him.
April 6, 2018, Wadsworth, Ohio. Every parent's worst nightmare. Finding out that your child had a hand in something so horrific. Realizing that someone you were responsible for instilling values, raising properly, and becoming a decent human being has gone astray and committed a crime so disgusting, it makes you question everything.
I know you talked a little bit about the phones. All the phones contain images.
Thank you.
Before and after her death, as well as videos of your son with her. Engaging acts with her. And she's the one thing. Oh my God.
This is 17-year-old Gavin Ramsey. From what we know, he was a bit of a troubled teen, getting into trouble on a pretty regular basis. The trouble that he would get himself into on the night of April 6, 2018 would shock law enforcement, the community, and everyone close to him. Gavin would sneak into 98-year-old Margaret Douglas's house, film her while she slept in her chair. And what he did next is unimaginable. He would strangle her, do unspeakable things to her post-mortem, and ultimately
Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you.
Margaret was reported missing when a friend came by to check on her. He noticed 3 newspapers near the front door. So, knowing Margaret never locked her door, he opened it and he went inside. He searched her whole house and he was unable to find Margaret Douglas. Margaret was eventually found by her nephew, Howard Leisure, as he was looking in the closet to find Margaret's favorite pair of shoes. Well, he found one, but realized that it was being worn by her. She had been covered in clothes and a vacuum cleaner, and a heater was placed in front of the closet door. On seemingly unrelated occurrences, on April 13, 2018, Gavin Ramsey was brought down to the Wadsworth Police Department for questioning regarding he and his friend Braiding's mischief the night before. And also another incident of a carjacking that took place in the area. His mother, Chris, was also there with him. Now, detectives were very aware that his house was just a few houses down from Margaret Douglas's home. He was not necessarily a suspect at the time, but he certainly was not ruled out.
How long you think?
Here is how that interview went. We have included in this video Gavin's second interview that took place just 3 days later, and you will see there is a
like an hour and a half.
between the two. But first, let us have a moment of silence for the victim in this case.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Over here.
Okay. Okay.
What are you throwing the person in this armchair? I'll have a drink. Oh, no, over there, you don't mind. He doesn't fit with his equipment. No, really. Oh, God. Turn my finger down. I was trying to reach his dad, but he's at work and he's not on the answer his phone. Your mom, right? Yeah, tomorrow. Chris, I'm the one that I was chasing you. You're not under arrest. You can leave anytime. You should understand that. I know I open the door just because they're on the phone call. So don't think you're under arrest or being detained at all. You can get up and go at any point in time. Okay. We've had a lot going on in the neighborhood lately. Yeah, yes, and probably more than the general public is aware, that's for sure. More than one incident. Yeah, so more than one incident, so. Okay. Unfortunately, we're trying to keep, it all related to things like that. Gavin, does your mom know why you're here?
I think tomorrow, yeah.
You said you climbed on top of the church. Yeah. There's nothing more than that, sir, because I will be on down and pick up at school, that's what he did. Yeah, so we already talked to the other half of this, okay? And, did you want to tell us what you guys were doing and what was happening that night? You're 17, right?
Yeah. No, we snuck out. Well, I snuck out. He's 18. So we were just walking around. He didn't even drive. Like, we just walked.
Oh, he walked from his house in this place?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus.
And then we met up at their ring, and we wanted to do anything. Then we went over to the church and climbed up top. And then we went, like, into the courtyard, but that's all we did.
Nah, then you did more. unfortunately, you guys have left behind some very telling items, okay? We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Let's just make it the truth all at once and deal with it and get it done. Yeah. You're a kid, so you're not looking at as much trouble as. And I just told you if you traded. Yeah, Charlie King is over. What did you do with the trailer?
Why you ringing my doorbell? I was messing with Ollie, asking why she ringing my doorbell.
I don't know, to be honest, yeah, I me and Braids together, we know it's not good.
I
But,
did.
we're just trying to get it,
Man.
like, my mom said it a lot. Me and Braids are like toxic together, I guess. We always get in trouble, but.
We don't allow him to hang out with him once a month. That'd be fine. What rooms was it that you guys were getting on top of? I mean, there's a million buildings there, that's why we asking.
Like, near the church, like, beside their language for, not for Christian,
Sacred Heart?
yeah.
Okay, big Catholic church, different building?
No, we weren't, now in the school.
Okay, now we're school.
Alright, if you come out of the building parking lot, there's that road that goes down, like, to the other church, I guess, with the really big parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the school, but it has, like, you can't skateboard, scooter, bike.
That's Sacred Heart, actually church, it has the church and the school there.
Yeah, it's like, I forget what it was called, it's right in the corner of Boyer and the other street. But it was on that roof.
Okay. And that set the alarm off. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah, I didn't even know what was going off, because we were by the windows, and they were already cracked open, and like, we were just messing with them, like, they were honestly cracked open, I'm not lying anymore.
Oh, no, in the school?
No, on the church.
On the church, okay.
And we were messing with it, and then Braiding's like, dude, the alarm, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I heard it, so we left, then we ran over there, then that's when we saw the trailer.
So you guys set off the alarm and then you messed with the trailer? Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
You'd think that would be enough to scare the bejeebies out of you and go home. Were you guys gonna hide in the trailer?
No, we.
You just weren't getting straight enough to go home after you set the alarm off?
Yeah, I guess.
You didn't get into it, obviously. And then you guys.
Why the top look like he was asleep?
I know, he do.
I don't even know.
He look like it right now. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm pretty sure the cops, it looks like, yeah, the whole side, like down by the church, walking, stomach o'clock.
Where'd you guys go?
Up Ford Street, and then I went home, and then he went home.
So you snuck back in the house there right after that?
Yeah.
And just so you know, we didn't stop him, I'm sure. He said he told you that.
Yeah, he did.
But he texted you that and let you know we didn't stop. Did you know he left his phone?
Yeah, he told me.
And your green liner?
My bad, you recording? You recording?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on live, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They can't see your face, though. They only see your hair.
Talking about like car thefts and stuff, but that's not anything I'm involved in.
You talked to him already?
Yeah, he texted me, like, he's got a computer and everything.
Good grief.
I know.
So you guys didn't go into any cars? But you know what? It would make me feel a lot better now if it was just the two of you that went into the cars. You know, because of the other issue in the area.
I remember. Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. You guys didn't, now would be the time to tell, okay? Because we processed the cars with his fingerprints and DNA. He's been in trouble, I would assume you were with him at Central Intermediate School?
Yes.
So you're the available file as well, so that's all gonna come up. If it's you guys, for goodness sake, it's just rummaging through cars and nothing was even taken, that they could tell, so it probably changed that was taken.
Private property color?
Yeah. People in people's driveways, yeah.
Yeah, you.
Okay, we opened cars, we didn't take anything, but
Do you remember where this was at, and what night this was?
you know,
Same night?
yeah, it was last night that we did it. It was I don't know what street it is. If you go up like 94 and turn right after CBS, like take a right. Then it comes down past like Lincoln School.
It's right here?
Yeah, that. We were walking through there.
Okay. You guys didn't take anything? Did you rummage through glove boxes or anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't take it out of the change or anything?
Maybe like 50 times, but other than that, seriously nothing.
Okay. How about over closer to your house? Portage,
I
something?
don't know, we went up for quite young, so beforehand, because the church was the last thing, I guess, before we went home. So, like, yeah, we were walking up. That road.
Thank you so much for the likes, guys.
Portage and everything up that road.
How about earlier in the week? We had some cars entered into earlier in the week, that's why I'm asking.
No.
No?
No, everything we did was last night.
Okay.
Because again, I have the DNA.
Is there gonna be anything else that we hear, that we relate you guys back to?
Or related each to my own. Last night. Previous to that.
So I'm guessing this isn't the first time yet.
Well, no, we've seen it out in the past before, but since I got in trouble, this most recent one, like, without the law, I haven't really snuck out at all.
When was the recent time that you got in trouble?
He has not had any freedom at all. I mean, he literally goes to work and home probably 3 months because he makes bad choices. And we don't want that for our kids. So he literally has no rights. And he was not out before. I just recently moved his bedroom downstairs close to mine with his younger brother, because they tend to jail. So that I keep, it's terrible that I did it. And still I can't do enough. Because Morton probably was not free. It's been a few months since he's
No comment, friend.
Yeah, we've had some really serious things happen in your neighborhood and in that area, okay? We had a carjacking.
Oh my God.
And suspect is a young white male with a nice complexion and blue eyes. Is that you?
No, it's not me. I wasn't doing the first thing about jacking the car.
Well, a little more to the story, but, you know, did you take anybody's car?
No.
Have you ever used an app called Braiders?
No.
How do you feel about gay people?
I'm not gay.
Oh, that's okay, but never bother you?
No, nothing bothers me.
Okay, I just, you know, some of the victims of these crimes are gay, and I didn't know if it was
a hate crime kind of thing.
right. They're being victimized only because of their sexual orientation. So, we're here, so I'm just gonna ask them, it's pretty straightforward, you know, there's no reason for me to fluff anything out. And I'm sure you guys know about the elderly woman that was signed.
Oh my God, that was horrifying. That was horrifying. It is horrifying.
Did you know her at all?
No, other than just to see her out like on a porch, that actually makes me cry. Like, how do you get to be 98 years old? Nobody lives to be 98, it's so rare. And someone else thought that was okay. Like, how does that, I don't know. Like, why does your life been like that?
Kevin, you know anything about it?
No, honestly,
probably 5 or 6 people.
That you talk to? Is that what you're saying? I'm gonna make you upset. I just don't understand what you're saying. What about 5 or 6 people?
No, it's not as 5, 8 people anymore. So.
Is there something else you need to tell us? Thank you so much.
No.
I've been doing this for a little while, and I have a whole gaggle of children of my own, ranging from the age of 26 all the way down to 10, so I'm pretty good with this stuff.
Do I what? Lock it from the bottom. What you mean?
Put them in that situation. Did you ever put you in that situation? No.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. Double tap that screen, please.
It's down because you know it all is not. It's not really going to be worried. What the fuck?
It doesn't cost you anything to support. Thank you.
What happens in the dark comes out in the light. That's the way it works. You mess up, you get caught. You make bad choices, you're gonna pay for it. So if there's something else, let's get it all out on the table so that we know what we're dealing with.
It's not anything else. It's, I don't know. I'm mad at myself. I'm so mad at myself.
What are you so mad at yourself for?
I was 16, married a fucking felony, like 5 misdemeanors years, and now I'm gonna be in more trouble. I have to go back to court, and I'm done with it. I'm so done with it.
That's fair enough.
Like, honestly, I don't even want to live at home anymore. I don't know. I'm not fucking normal. I need to live somewhere else. Like, I don't know, some halfway house or something. I honestly would not care.
Why would you want to live in a halfway house? What do you so wrong about living at home?
No, it's nothing that they do. It's me. Like, everything I'm putting in here, I'm costing them thousands of dollars. Constant heartbreak at honestly probably never made it even to the crowd. I don't do anything fucking good.
Stop crying.
It's a word
It's disrespectful.
So you're upset with yourself?
Yeah, I hate myself. That's really it.
That's not why we brought you in here.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody that
you have seen what is upsetting me.
Well, and we need to know that. But we're talking about
Thanks,
stuff.
I guess.
We're talking about kids making bad decisions. I mean, we're talking about a damaged trailer and some cars you went into and took a little bit of change.
And definitely not, because we save edges over here.
It's something because I don't know, I wouldn't be. You're making it sound like it's no big deal right now. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you or you or my mom. I'm just saying, like, right now, you're making it seem like, oh, you just went, you know. To us, it's more serious than that. Yeah, I know, but then I go to court and it's
completely different. Like last time, the cop told me, oh, like, whenever I got the felony, like, yeah, blah, 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 he wasn't make it about that. And then next thing you know, I'm on probation for 6 months with a felony and 2 misdemeanors.
That was, I told him to get those stone breaking and
Okay, I told you when we started, it's not going to be responsible when you turn 18. You know what? I don't care about what's on my record. Okay, like I do, but right now, like I know I'm gonna have to deal with it more for the next 9 months. That is what makes me mad.
You're the only person that can change them.
I know.
Okay? And I had the same conversation with Braiding. I can't remember if Brandon or Braiding or I had the same conversation with them. The only person that can change this is you. Your mom can tie you up in the basement and remedy the situation. You've got to make the right choices. You sound like you have a good head on your shoulders and you definitely know what's right and what's wrong. I'm guessing that you're listening somewhere by the look of your boots.
Memories.
Okay.
Just the school.
Okay. So you're learning a trade, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
You have aspirations of not looking at Marie's on
Yeah.
Marie's is probably not the best choice.
he said be careful. In the things they want to careful. He said that.
Yes.
I know.
We're constantly dealing. So.
Yeah, I forgot several others.
Try to narrow. Those girls are nice.
They were rather what they want. That was a good job.
Yeah, but this is all there is. There's nothing else. I'm not asking, I'm not telling you.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. You have nothing to do with the carjacking? We're not going to see you on the video when we get back from enhancement?
So,
That was, by the Overlook Administration building, you were not in that parking lot at all in the middle of the night. I have a friend that I was at the academy with that works for Mass, so sometimes
You a mess.
yeah, so we send the video up there and get it cleaned up.
Alright guys, my phone is about to die, of course. We've been on here for 3 hours. So I will catch you guys on the next video. I may be back on in a little bit with my last client of today. So I hope to see you guys then. And if I don't, then enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a blessed Friday. And God bless you all. In a minute.